Chapter 1677. Love. Elder Hong stared at Yang Wei for a while, wondering if he had pulled Sima Yue along because of the grudge between them. Yang Wei didn't avoid his gaze and continued. I think it's very likely that she did it. Why? Young Lord and Eastern Lai Clan's young Miss, Eastern Lai Li, went to participate in the Crimson Pearl Convention. Both of them did not return. Eastern Lai Li's life tablet had already shattered, and it happened a few days after the Crimson Pearl Convention ended. It was also at that time that they lost contact with the young master. Therefore, the two of them should have met with an accident together, Yang Wei analyzed. You're right. According to the people who followed them, the two of them disappeared together. Elder Hong nodded. At that time, Sima Yue also went to the Lost Lands to look for her master and teacher. Yang Wei continued. They were both in the Lost Lands, and one of them died while the other went missing. Although young Lord doesn't have any grudges with Sima Yue, she doesn't get along with Eastern Lai Li. Many people attended Shimenfeng's wedding. The news of Sima Yue going to the lost place also spread. The Northern Du clan also knew that she had participated in the Crimson Pearl Convention. There was no need for Yang Wei to continue. It was not impossible for Northern Du Hao to accompany Eastern Lai Li to kill Sima Yue. But young master brought so many corpses with him. How could Sima Yue defeat them all? He said this because he believed that Sima Yue was related to Northern Du Hao's disappearance. Elder Hong, have you forgotten Sima Yue's identity? She was the child of a human and a ghost, so she had the bloodline of a ghost. Moreover, that person was the princess of the ghost clan. If she had the blood of the ghost clan in her body, those corpses might not be so useful to her. Moreover, her strength is very strong. Men! Elder Hong shouted to the outside and a guard came in. He instructed, send someone to investigate Sima Yue's information for me. No matter how big or small, I want to know everything. Yes, Elder. Elder, there's no need to trouble them. I have a copy of her information here. Yang Wei took out a thick stack of papers and handed them to Elder Hong. Actually, the reason why we want to deal with Sima Yue is not only because of her collusion with us, but also because if we don't get rid of such a person, when she grows up in the future, how will we have a foothold in the future? Elder Hong took the information and started reading. The more he read, the more shocked he became. He had always thought that Sima Yue was just a lady from a small family, and had never taken her seriously. He did not expect her to do so many shocking things. Yang Wei saw the change in his expression and continued. Actually, it's not that we were impulsive. The people we sent out were enough to kill several Paragon-level experts, but she was completely unharmed. What did this mean? Corpses could do no harm to her. If I'm not wrong, there should be ghost energy in her body, and this just so happens to restrain the undead. Therefore, even if the young master had a lot of corpses to protect himself, he might not be able to defeat her. And, at this point he paused and glanced at Elder Hong. If you have any guesses, just say it. Elder Hong said impatiently. If the young master really used the undead back then, with her intelligence, she should have already guessed that the Northern Du clan was behind the undead. Yang Wei said. Elder Hong's hands trembled. How likely do you think this guess is? 90%. Yang Wei said. If at this time she spreads this news, the Northern Du clan. Bring your clansmen and stay here. You're not allowed to go out and cause trouble. I'm going to look for the clan head. Elder Hong said, got up and left quickly. Yang Wei looked at his hurried back and laughed silently. Sima Yue? Sima Yue, against the hidden clan. Do you still have the confidence to win? What kind of decision the Northern Du clan would make was not something he could control, but he believed that with this information, the Northern Du clan would definitely not ignore Sima Yue. Just the fact that she might know that the Northern Du clan had something to do with the undead was enough for them to kill her. Thinking about Sima Yue's possible ending, the knot in his heart dissipated a lot. And as he expected, this news had indeed alarmed the entire Northern Du clan, and they all gathered together to discuss how to deal with this matter. This Sima Yue, we can't let her live. This was the unanimous opinion of all the Northern Du clan members. But on what to do, everyone had different opinions. Since the undead are useless to her, we can't use this. She hasn't announced this to the world because there's no evidence. If we send the undead to kill her, wouldn't we be handing the evidence to her? That's right. It's best if we don't show ourselves. That way, she won't shift her attention to us. Then it's best not to just target her. I think we should kill the entire Sima family. That's fine. Because of the Yang clan, Paramount Valley's current position is a little special. If we attack them at this time, it will cause unnecessary trouble. And the Sima family has always kept a low profile. If we kill a Sima family, no one will link it to us. It's best to find an enemy of the Sima family. If we don't have an enemy, we can create one. We do have an enemy. Elder Hong took out a piece of paper. When Sima Yue returned to the Sima family took the opportunity to exterminate a family. Although many died then, there were some fish that escaped the net. As long as we make use of this, it'll be fine. Alright, then we'll leave this matter to Elder Hong. Patriarch Northern Du said. Also spread the news that Eastern Lai Li was killed by Sima Yue. I think Eastern Lai clan won't stand by and do nothing. Patriarch, Eastern Lai Li is already dead. Do we still have to continue our agreement with Eastern Lai clan? Of course we have to continue. Now we need Eastern Lai clan to be our cover. Patriarch Northern Du said. Patriarch, about the undead. The Yang clan's move has been wasted. We can only go from the open to the dark. We have to nurture a new family to take over the Yang clan's position. Patriarch Northern Du said. We've already chosen this family. You just need to teach them how to control the undead. Fortunately, there are still more than half of the undead left. We don't need to spend more than 10 years to prepare. Patriarch is wise. Sima Yue didn't know the decision made by the Northern Du clan. But because it would be her great-grandfather's 1200th birthday soon, and there was nothing to do in Paramount Valley, she returned to the Sima family. When she returned to the clan, she found that the atmosphere in the clan wasn't very good. Everyone was frowning. She looked at Sima Luxian. The latter shrugged and said, I've always been with you. How would I know about the clan's matters? We'll know when we meet the patriarch. Chapter 1678. The two of them went to look for Sima Zhiyuan, and saw that everyone was frowning. What's wrong? Sima Yue looked at them in confusion. Did something happen in the family? Sigh. Sima Zhiyuan sighed, still not saying anything. Alright, from the looks of it, it shouldn't be a big deal. Tell me, what's the matter that's making you so conflicted? Sima Yue sat on the empty chair at the bottom, and her hanging heart finally calmed down. How do you know he's fine? Sima Zhiyuan glared at her. Can't you see that great-grandfather's hair is turning white? Didn't your hair turn white a long time ago? Sima Yue glanced at him helplessly. Sima Zhiyuan glared at her. You little heartless one, I was so worried about you, and you're still talking about me like that. Oh, you're worried about me. What's the matter? Let me see if it's really that worrisome, Sima Yue asked. It's all because of those ignorant brats. They actually dared to come to my residence to propose marriage. What the hell? My Yue is not someone that can be married to a nobody like them. He's not worthy. Sima Zhiyuan snorted coldly. PFFF. Sima Yue and Sima Luxian spat out the tea in their mouths. Great-grandfather, what did you say? Someone is proposing to me? Sima Yue looked at everyone in surprise. Great-grandfather, you didn't agree, did you? Of course not. Do you think your great-grandfather is blind? Sima Zhiyuan snorted coldly. That's good. Sima Yue heaved a sigh of relief. But more people came after that. In just a short 2 months, 7 or 8 groups of people came. It really angered me to death, Sima Zhiyuan said. So, great-grandfather, do you think that no one wants to marry me? Sima Yue asked. No way. My Yue is the best. Those people are not worthy of you. Speaking of which, why wasn't there any news about Wu Lingyu? Is he asking for a beating? Sima Zhiyuan was very unhappy. He was delayed by something over there. Could it be that great-grandfather doesn't like me and wants to marry me off as soon as possible? Sima Yue pursed her lips. Says who? Isn't that right? Then why are you still upset? Sima Yue said with a smile. I'm just unhappy. Sima Zhiyuan snorted coldly. Alright, there's no need to worry about these things. There are other things that you need to worry about, Sima Yue said. Is it about the undead? Sima Hishun immediately guessed what she wanted to say. That's right. If this matter is not resolved, it will be suspended here, Sima Yue said. We all know about what happened in Paramount Valley. Although the Yang clan was forced to hide in the end, if we don't get rid of them completely, I'm afraid that there will be a huge problem in the future, Sima Zhiyuan said. The Yang family isn't the most important right now. What we need to guard against now is the hidden clan's Northern Du clan. Northern Du clan. If the Yang clan enters the Northern Du clan, with their hatred towards me and Paramount Valley, I'm afraid that they will drag the Northern Du clan down with them. Sima Yoyue's expression turned serious. And the best way is to let them think that I'm a threat to them. Once the Northern Du clan believes it, I'm afraid that they will deal with me and the Sima family. Under such circumstances, it's indeed not good to deal with Paramount Valley. Our Sima family seems to be easier to deal with. Sima Hishun understood Sima Yoyue's worries. That's right, that's what I'm worried about too, Sima Yue said worriedly. I'm afraid that they will make a move on the Sima family. You don't have to worry about that. Sima Hishun smiled. Our Sima family has already risen in recent years. Do you think it's that easy to deal with us now? As long as they don't use the undead, we don't have to worry. And they don't even dare to use them now. But I'm the one who implicated the family. Sima Yue felt very guilty when she thought of this. Sai, you're not right, Sima Zhiyuan said disapprovingly. You and the family are one. You helped the family rise, so we should protect you. That's right. Don't think too much about it, Sima Hishun said. We've been developing in secret for so many years. It's time for others to see our strength. You just have to go back to the family and stay in peace. You don't have to worry about anything else. Great-grandfather, great-uncle, I'm worried that the Northern Du clan won't do it themselves and will let others deal with us. So the family has to be more careful and be more cautious of others. We know, Sima Hishun agreed. If it was Sima Zhiyuan who said it, Sima Yue would have said a few more words. But since Sima Hishun said it, she didn't have to worry. Alright, since there's nothing else, I'll go back first. She stood up and said, Go. Lu Xian, stay behind and talk to us. Sima Zhiyuan waved at Sima Yue and waited for her to leave before saying to Sima Lu Xian, tell us what happened to her during this period. Yes, Patriarch. After Sima Yue returned to her courtyard, she immediately went into the spirit pagoda and rummaged through the treasure pavilion to see if there was anything else she could help the family with. After rummaging through it, she realized that the only thing she hadn't given to the Sima family was the arrays. Previously, she felt that this thing belonged to the 100 changing doors after all. But now that the situation was special and she had given the rubbing to the little old man, it shouldn't be a problem for her to use it. And now that the situation was special, she had to strengthen the family's defensive array. Thinking of this, she rubbed a copy of the Imperial Beast Art and Spirit Seeker's Origin together, and told Bai Sheng to come and get it. Bai Sheng was very fast and came over to her place in a short while. Sima Yue passed the items to him and said, these are some cultivation methods that I've collected over the years. Take them back to Feng, he will know what to do. To be safe, she had placed a restriction on the rubbing. Without the method that she had taught Shimin Feng, if anyone tried to open it by force, they would only destroy the rubbing. Bai Sheng took the items and left. She took the array book and went to look for Sima Zhiyuan. Great-grandfather, this is the birthday gift that I've prepared for you. Now that I've given it to you in advance, don't come looking for me for a birthday gift when the time comes. She placed the rubbing into Sima Zhiyuan's hands. Oh, you little girl, are you afraid that you won't be able to take this out on my birthday, so you're giving it to me in advance? Sima Zhiyuan said disdainfully. Haha, great-grandfather, you know me. Sima Yue didn't explain. She really couldn't take this out on the birthday banquet. Humph, let me see what you've prepared. Although Sima Zhiyuan appeared to be very disdainful, the corners of her mouth were raised, showing that she was in a good mood. Enough, who doesn't know that the things that Yue gives are all good things? Just keep showing off. Sima Hishun couldn't help but expose him. He just didn't like this arrogant look of his. He really didn't like it no matter how he looked at it. Chapter 1679. Love. Sima Ji Yuan looked at the thing inside and asked in surprise. Child, where did you get this thing? This is a lost treasure of the 100 changing doors. Ling Yi gave it to me, Sima Yue said. I've already sent a copy to the 100 changing doors. If we use it, will they find trouble with us? I don't think so. This item was found by Ling Yu, and I've already returned a portion to them. So they shouldn't find trouble with us anymore. Just don't let anyone know about it. Good. Men. Sima Ji Yuan shouted towards the outside. A guard came in and ordered him. Go and invite third elder over. The guard took the order and left. Sima Yue stood up and said, I'm going to take a look at the family's defense array and see if there's anything I can do. Wait for a while. Let third brother take you there. The defensive array is so big. It's better to have someone to guide you. The matter of the array has always been handled by third elder. He is most clear on the matter of the defensive array, Sima Hishun said. All right then. Sima Yue sat back down. When third elder arrived and heard Sima Ji Yuan explain the origins of the stone rubbing, he was extremely shocked and wanted to immediately take it down to study it. However, Sima Ji Yuan asked him to bring Sima Yue to look at the defensive array. Although Sima Yue was just a junior to him, everyone knew that she had an extraordinary status in the family. Therefore, although his heart was itching unbearably, he could only restrain himself and take her to see the defense array. He originally thought that it was just a formality. Although she was very accomplished in alchemy, she shouldn't be that good in array formations. However, she didn't expect that after she understood the entire defense array, she would only need to change a few points to increase its defensive capabilities. Third elder, do the forces outside the family also use this defensive array? Sima Yue asked. Yes. It's just that they've shrunk. Third elder's expression turned serious, and he showed more respect to Sima Yue. Then you should understand the changes just now. Follow these instructions and have them strengthen their respective defensive arrays. All right. To be on the safe side, the third elder brought the array masters of the clan to take a look at the defense array. He also told them about the places that Sima Yue had changed, and asked them to remember them. After that, they went to the forces outside to strengthen their defense array. When the formation masters returned, they began to study the formation books that Sima Yue had given them. The following days were relatively peaceful. The Sima family prepared for Sima Ji Yuan's 1200th birthday banquet, and invited a few people who were on good terms with them to attend. But the peace was broken before the birthday banquet. On this day, Sima Yue and Sima Lu Xian were discussing the matter of searching for spirits when Enlai came in from outside and bowed to the two of them, saying, Young miss, something happened. What happened? I heard from outside that several groups of people who came to attend the birthday banquet were attacked by unknown people, Enlai replied. I heard that some people even died. Did the family send someone to pick them up? Sima Lu Xian asked. I've already sent someone. But we received the news relatively late, so the situation is still quite serious. Enlai replied. I'll go and take a look. Sima Lu Xian nodded at Sima Yue and got up to leave. Sima Yue watched his back as he left. She called out some scarlet bees and asked them to go to Sima Ji Yuan's place to investigate. Did you hear anything else? No. Enlai shook her head. I heard this and came back to tell young Mississippi young miss. Do you think this is the work of the Northern Dew family? It's not impossible. They have been quiet for so long, it's very likely that they will make a move at this time. Sima Yue knocked on the table with one hand. Since they will make a move on these people, they might also make a move on the other guests. If great-grandfather's birthday banquet is ruined by these people, that would be depressing. Will the patriarch send someone to pick up the people behind? Enlai asked. No matter how great-grandfather and the others send people, it's impossible for them to take care of everything. If the other party is targeting us, they will definitely be prepared. We have to think of other ways. Sima Yue pondered. After a while she said, the Scarlet Bees sent news, great-grandfather and the others have already sent people to pick up the others. Then what else do we need to do? And Lei looked at Sima Yue. Sima Yue thought about it, then called out Little Rock, Halcyon and the others, saying, Little Rock, you already understand the situation. I want to ask you to send a request to the various bird clans. Get them to step out and protect those people if they encounter such a situation. If there's a need, you can also release Crimson Flame's aura. No problem. Little Rock nodded and left with Chongming. Sima Yue didn't know how the bird clans communicated with each other, but if there were bird clans protecting them along the way, then there wouldn't be too much of a problem. Not long after she sent out the message, another message came through Little Rock's contract platform. Another group of people was intercepted along the way, but Chongming and the others happened to be nearby, so they led the bird clans to rescue them. The bird clans' attacks were very strong, and with their rescue, those people were safe and sound, and they even caught a few alive. We sent them to protect those people, and we also let them bring the few alive over. We'll go to other places to take a look. Little Rock said. You guys be careful. Other than protecting their safety, try to find out who did this. Sima Yue instructed. Okay. You don't worry, great-grandfather's birthday banquet will go smoothly. Little Rock comforted. I'll have to trouble you guys. Very quickly, the people escorted by the bird clans arrived, and they didn't encounter any other people or incidents along the way, and they successfully arrived at the Sima family. It was only then that Sima Jiyuan and the others knew that Sima Yue had sent the bird clans, but they couldn't go and find her now, and they had to interrogate the people who were sent along with her to find out who was the mastermind behind this. At the same time, in other places, a few groups of people were also assassinated, but they were all destroyed by the sudden appearance of the bird clans. In the end, those people were all escorted by the bird clans to the Sima family. The bird clans cleared the way. This was a high-level treatment that was hard to enjoy in the past, and those people didn't expect to be able to enjoy this after being frightened. The discomfort in their hearts about getting killed because they were on good terms with the Sima family had disappeared. How many people in this world could mobilize the bird clans? How many bird clans were there in the entire continent? And how powerful the Sima family was? When the people who wanted to deal with the Sima family found out that the bird clans had interfered, they had no choice but to give up their plans. If they fought with the bird clans, not only would they not achieve the desired results, they would also suffer a double loss. In Sima Yue's courtyard, Lei ran in hurriedly and said to Sima Yue, Young miss, the patriarch has sent someone to invite you over. He said that he wants to interrogate those people together. Let's go and see who is behind all this. Chapter 1680. The interrogation process was not troublesome. Those people quickly explained why they wanted to deal with those people. It turned out that everything was really aimed at the Sima family, but the reason was not because of the Northern Du family, but because of a reason that they did not expect. The Jiang family, the family that wanted to annex the Sima family, but was exterminated before Sima Yue returned to the family. There were still some fish that escaped the net. At that time, no one knew where he had hidden himself. Now he was using a sect called Qingling sect to take revenge. It was said that he had become the sect master's husband, and had won the sect master's favor. She was willing to avenge him. I have never heard of this green spirit sect before. I don't know what kind of sect they are. Now that they have come to deal with us, I'm afraid it is not a coincidence. Sima Hishun said. You're saying that this was arranged by someone else? Great Elder asked. Very likely. Sima Hishun speculated. If this green spirit sect has some strength, then it's impossible for us not to have heard of them. This meant that he was only a small force. Would such a force dare to attack us? That's right, they dare to be so fearless towards us. It must be because someone is supporting them from behind. Sima Jiyuan said. It should be the Northern Du clan who acted against us. Without direct evidence, we can't do anything to them. The Great Elder said hatefully. This little trick won't be a problem for us. Sima Jiyuan didn't care about that power at all. Great-grandfather, I think they chose this time to make a move to ruin your birthday banquet. If this matter is not handled properly, it will affect the banquet that day. Sima Yue said. So we should be careful. Since you've already mobilized the bird clan, I believe they won't dare to do anything else. Sima Yue shook her head. Since they've already started, they won't be afraid of this. I think they are only holding back temporarily. If nothing happens during this period, something will definitely happen on the day of the birthday banquet. My thoughts are the same as you use. If something happens during the banquet and the guests are implicated, I'm afraid that this matter will be even more difficult to explain. Third elder said. If that's really the case, we have to be on guard. If I knew it would be so troublesome, I wouldn't have done this, Sima Zhiyuan said impatiently. Even if this didn't happen, they would have done it from another angle. It's all the same, Sima Yue said. These people are too lowly, they don't know anything. Right now we don't know what they're planning, but we'll deal with whatever comes our way. With absolute power, we don't have to be afraid of any schemes. Ha ha ha, what you said is wrong. Sima Zhiyuan laughed loudly. It's time for those people to see the power of our Sima family. Since they want to find trouble for us, we'll take this opportunity to become famous again. That's right, ha ha. Sima Yue looked at the enthusiastic elders and did not say anything. She only smiled. Reviving the Sima family was the long-cherished wish of the ancestors. Now that it was finally going to be realized, how could they not be happy? However, it was better to be careful. Since they were so happy, she would put in more effort. Chongzhou, where the Sima family lived, was very lively recently. There were many outsiders who came to celebrate Sima Zhiyuan's birthday. Some of the Sima family members who were outside also came back. It was rare for the Sima family to be so complete. Sima Yue also met those uncles and grandfathers. She followed Sima Luxian and met a circle of people. Fortunately, everyone was a cultivator and had a photographic memory. After a round of meeting, she remembered these elders. Before this, she was still thinking that the ones she saw the most in the clan were Sima Zhiyuan and the bunch of elders, or the younger ones like Sima Yiyun. The people from the middle two generations rarely appeared, but it turned out that they were all sent outside. After so many years, she had not seen many of them. Actually, these people would come back often, but Sima Yue did not spend much time in the family. When she was around, she would stay in her courtyard and not come out. Those people came and went in a hurry, so she did not see many of them. And with these people, she knew that great-grandfather was not the eldest in the family, but the youngest in that generation. She did not know why, but he became the head of the family. By the way, the people in their line were much younger than the others. It's a good thing that cultivators don't pursue having children. Otherwise, with this pile there would be thousands of uncles, grandparents and the like. Sima Yu muttered softly. Sima Luxian was standing beside her. When he heard what she said, he smiled. There are more people on our side. Your mother's side has fewer relatives. The Ghost clan was even less interested in having children. Moreover, it was more difficult for the Ghost clan to have children, so there were fewer direct relatives. However, even so, the number of aunts and uncles was still considerable. Father, since the meeting is over, if there is nothing else, I will go back first. Sima Yue tugged at Sima Luxian's clothes and said softly. There was no need to talk about her status in the clan. When everyone saw her, they were very affectionate. Some aunts and uncles held her hand and praised her nonstop. Her heart was so sweet. Sima Luxian had long noticed that she was not comfortable here. He smiled and said, They like you too much. All right, go back if you want to. I will tell them. Thank you, father. She smiled at Sima Luxian and turned to sneak away. Sima Luxian smiled helplessly when he saw her like this. He was considered a junior in the family, but since his daughter did not like such occasions, he would help her. Sima Yue returned to her courtyard and contacted Little Rock and the others. There were still 3 days before the birthday banquet. There were more people coming during this period of time, so Little Rock and the others were busier. Yu, I have already instructed them. They have already gone over in the name of escorting. Little Rock said. Are they willing to do such a big favor for us? What's there to be unhappy about? Who in the bird clan doesn't know that you are the contract master of the divine vermilion bird? It is their honor to help you. What's there to be unhappy about? Little Rock snorted. When they heard that they might be able to see Crimson Flame here, they were all very excited. If it weren't for us holding them back, they would have run over to you. Chongming also chimed in. Aren't you afraid that Crimson Flame will be angry? Sima Yue laughed. He won't. Although he doesn't like them, he is still the guardian of the bird clan. He won't dislike them. Little Rock laughed and said, well, there are still 3 days. Be careful. Use the power of the contract to rush back on the day of the birthday banquet. Sima Yue instructed. Chapter 1681. Everything she did was done in secret. Other than Sima Zhiyuan and a few others who knew about it, the other clansmen didn't know about it. Mobile phone access in these 3 days, even more people came to Chongzhou. Just like Shimen Feng's wedding, some people were invited, while others came on their own. They wanted to build a relationship with Sima Yue. The Green Spirit sect was also quiet these days, and no one was intercepted. However, this made the Sima family even more vigilant. On the day of the birthday celebration, Sima Yue went to the front yard early in the morning. There were many guests today, and they needed to help entertain the guests. Because she was young and her seniority was also very low, she should be receiving people from the younger generation. However, she was brought along by Sima Zhiyuan to receive those who were of higher seniority. If he had known earlier, he wouldn't have come. She was getting a headache from all the noise and couldn't help but mutter in her heart, Yue. Just when she wanted to find an excuse to leave, Su Lunyan and the rest walked over. Auntie. Sima Yue was suddenly energized and greeted her with a smile. He Zhenzhong came in front of Sima Zhiyuan and took the box from the guard beside him, saying, congratulations to brother Zhiyuan on your birthday. Ha ha ha. Thank you, old brother He, for coming over personally. Please forgive us if there's anything we haven't done. Sima Zhiyuan laughed loudly. Because of Sima Yue, the relationship between the He family and the Sima family had been getting better. They were already calling each other brothers. At this time, 2 people came up from the side, took out a congratulatory gift and handed it to the Sima family, and said, congratulations, Sima family head. Sima Zhiyuan was stunned. Didn't these people come with the He clan? Great-grandfather, they're Su family's Uncle Su Yang and young master Su Yu. Uncle Su Yang and Auntie He are twins. Sima Yue recognized them. Weren't they the 2 people she had saved before? So it's the Su clan's guests. Ha ha ha. Please come in, please come in. Third elder, please bring them in. Sima Zhiyuan said. Brother Ziyuan, since you're so busy here, third elder should stay here and greet the other guests. We don't have to go through so much trouble. Yue can come with us. Sima Zhiyuan was a little hesitant. One was the patriarch of the He family, while the other was an important guest of the Su family. It was a little inappropriate for a junior like Sima Yue to receive them. It's okay, we know Yue, other people might not be used to it, Su Lunyan said. Sima Zhiyuan saw that Su Yang and the others did not have any objections, so he said to Sima Yue, since this is the case, you will receive them. Yes, great-grandfather, I will definitely receive them well. Sima Yue happily bowed to Sima Zhiyuan, then blinked gratefully at Su Lunyan and smiled. Uncle He, Aunt He, Uncle Yang, please follow me. She brought them into the Sima family. Originally, she wanted to bring them to the guests' resting area, but Su Lunyan said that she wanted some peace and quiet, so she brought them to her own courtyard. She planned to bring them there before the banquet. Along the way, Su Lunyan was the one talking, while the other 3 were silent at the side. When they reached Sima Yue's courtyard, Su Lunyan grabbed Sima Yue's hand and said gratefully, Child, I really don't know how to thank you for what happened to your Uncle Yang. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have known that he was trapped in that place. You saved me first, then you saved Yue, and now you saved my brother. I really don't know how to thank you. Aunt He, you're too polite. Isn't it a coincidence every time? Besides, I didn't do much, it was just a small matter. Aunt He, you're treating me like an outsider. Sima Yue said with a smile. It's a small matter to you, but it means a lot to us. I know you don't like to hear this, so I'll only say it once. We will remember your kindness in our hearts. Su Lunyan patted her hand and said. After that, she did not mention anything about repaying her kindness. Yue, do you know anything about the Yang family? Yi Zhenjiang asked. Sima Yue blinked and thought about the grudge between the He and Yang family. They had been investigating the Yang family for so many years. Because of Su Lunyan, the Yang family and He family would not rest until one of them was dead. When the Yang family was attacked, the He family also contributed a lot. Now that the Yang family was hiding, they definitely wanted to find them and eliminate them completely. However, she did not tell them about the undead and the Northern Du family, so they could not guess where the Yang family was hiding. If I'm not wrong, the Yang family is hiding at the Northern Du family. Northern Du family? That hidden family? Su Yang frowned. If this matter was related to the hidden family, it would be troublesome. Didn't we suspect that there was someone behind the Yang family? Sima Yue looked at He Zhenjiang and said slowly. You found out. He Zhenjiang looked at her in surprise. All these years, they had spent a lot of effort to find out the mastermind from the Yang family, but to no avail. I didn't find out, I found out by chance. Sima Yue did not tell them about the matter between her and Northern Du Hao. It was not that she did not trust them, but it was better if fewer people knew about it. Moreover, they only needed to know the result. The process was not that important. If the mastermind is really the Northern Du family, then this matter will be troublesome. Su Lunyan said worriedly. Yes, it is indeed troublesome. Sima Yue sighed. It was a pity that she did not have absolute strength, and could not directly eliminate them to prevent future troubles. Is the incident that the guests encountered on the way related to them? Su Yu asked. They also heard that someone was killed on the way. At first, they thought that it was a personal grudge between the Sima family, but now it seemed that it was not as simple as they thought. The person who attacked us is someone called the Green Spirit Sect. They said that they wanted to avenge their sect master's husband. That person is called Jiang Kuan, someone who escaped from the Jiang family. But how would we know if there is a mastermind behind this? Sima Yue laughed lightly. Since they did not succeed previously, I'm afraid that they will make another move later. Su Yang and the rest were quick-witted and quickly understood the twists and turns in the story. Yes, we think so too. Great-grandfather and the rest said that today would not be a smooth day. But we have also made preparations. We will make sure that they do not return. If the hidden clan is really behind this, I'm afraid that things will not be so easy. If something really happens, we will not stand by and do nothing. Su Lunyan said. Thank you so much. Sima Yue bowed to Su Lunyan, and did not reject their good intentions. Whether she needed their help or not was one thing, but their intentions were another. Chapter 1682. Su Lunyan and the rest stayed in Sima Yue's courtyard until the banquet started. Lei came in from outside and said that most of the guests had arrived. Sima Zhiyuan said that the banquet was about to begin. Sima Yue nodded at her and said to Su Lunyan, Aunt He, the preparations are almost done. Let's go over. All right. Sima Yue brought them to the banquet venue, and saw that the other guests had already taken their seats. Young miss, your seats are in front. Please follow me. A maidservant hurried forward when she saw Sima Yue. Sima Yue knew that she was waiting for them there. She nodded and said, Let's go over. They walked along the edge of the arena, leaving them a seat that was closer to Sima Zhiyuan's main seat. Uncle He, Aunt He, Uncle Yang, so you sit here. Sima Yue led them to their seats. All right. You go back to your seat too. Boom. Before Su Lunyan could finish her sentence, a deafening sound was heard from outside. What happened? Could it be those people? All the guests were in an uproar as they recalled the assassination attempt. Patriarch, let's go and take a look. Sima Lufeng and the others stood up and said to Sima Zhiyuan. Go ahead. No matter who they are, they don't have good intentions. You don't have to show mercy. Sima Zhiyuan said. Yes, Patriarch. Sima Lufeng, Sima Luyun and Sima Luxian left the venue and flew to midair. They saw the guards and a group of people in a deadlock above the Sima family. Who are you people? Sima Lufeng shouted. Sima Lufeng, you don't recognize me so quickly? A man's face was gloomy as he looked at Sima Lufeng with a murderous look. Sima Lufeng glanced at the person who came and said, TSK, I was wondering who it was. I didn't expect it to be a street rat like you. Jiang Kuan, I heard that you've become someone's man. Why don't you hide yourself properly? How dare you come out and make a fool of yourself? Sima Lufeng, your Sima family coveted my Jiang family's property and plotted to exterminate my Jiang family. Today, I'm here for revenge. Jiang Kuan shouted. Today is the day your Sima family dies. You dare to think about it. Sima Luyun's face was solemn. He was imposing without being angry. Ha 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 ha, Sima Luyun. Do you think everyone is afraid of your Sima family? Today, not only do I dare to think about it, I also dare to do it. Jiang Kuan shouted. TSK, with just a few of you? Sima Lufeng pointed at the 10 over people. Today is my master's birthday banquet. If you all scram now, we can still let you live for 2 more days. Otherwise, I wouldn't mind using your blood to celebrate my master's birthday. Husband. A woman flew over to Jiang Kuan's side. You're the sect leader of the Green Spirit sect? A small force that I have never heard of dares to fight with the Sima family for such a man. Their courage is commendable. We usually don't come out. Do you think the world is surnamed Sima? The sect leader of the Green Spirit sect snorted coldly and said to Jiang Kuan, Husband, we don't need to talk nonsense with them, let's go. The sect leader of the Green Spirit sect clapped his hands, and many people flew out from the crowd outside. They wore the same clothes as the people of the Green Spirit sect, but they were much stronger. Sima Yue had been watching the situation from below. When she saw these people coming out, she said to Huang Yingying beside her, These people don't look like people from the Green Spirit sect. You can tell? Although they wear the same clothes and try to pretend to be the same, their aura is still slightly different. Sima Yue said. Then are these people from the Northern Du family? Huang Yingying asked. Not really. I think they should be from somewhere else. Grandma, I'll go up and take a look. Be careful. Knowing her ability, Huang Yingying did not object. She just reminded her and let her go up. Seeing Sima Yue come up, Jiang Kuan and the sect leader of the Green Spirit sect looked at each other secretly. Sima Yue came to her father's side and stopped. Sima Luxian glared at her and said, Why are you here? I came up to see which force has such ambition to help a small Green Spirit sect to deal with my Sima family. Sima Yue directly exposed them. They are not together? Sima Lufeng asked. Although they try to make themselves look the same, a fake is a fake. After Sima Yue finished speaking, she disappeared from the spot, and then quietly appeared behind the other party's camp, and caught them off guard. She was behind Sima Luxian, and was not afraid of the other party's attack. She took out Ling Long, turned it into a dagger, and wiped the neck of the other party. Blood spurted out. From her disappearance to her death, it only took a few breaths. This change was so fast that Jiang Kuan and others' faces changed. They didn't feel any movement at all just now. The man didn't seem to think that he would die like this, and his eyes were still blank. Sima Yue probed into his sea of consciousness. After finding the information she wanted, she threw him out. Father, this person is from the 16th State's Yu family, she said to Sima Luxian. Yu family? Sima Lufeng frowned. They didn't have any contact with the Yu family. How could they be willing to be the executioner? The Yu family and the Yang family have a good relationship. They are thousands of years old families. Sima Yue said. These people are not from the Green Spirit sect. Yu family. No matter what family they are, if they want to fight with us, the result will be the same. Sima Lufeng took out his spirit weapon and planned to fight. The Yu family didn't expect Sima Yue to have this trick. She knew their identity so quickly through the memory. Since they were exposed, the Yu family no longer hid their identity. The aura of the inconspicuous man beside Jiang Kuan changed. He stared at Sima Yue and said faintly, Sima Yue, you are really powerful. No wonder the Yang family fell into your hands. What does your Yu family mean by helping the Green Spirit sect? Do you want to avenge the Yang family? Sima Yue looked back at him. Or are you, like the Yang family, also involved in the undead? Don't try to label us like this. If my Yu family was related to the undead, would we dare to look for you with such great fanfare? The man didn't fall for it. My Yu family and the Yang family had an agreement that if one family was in trouble, the other family would avenge it. We are just fulfilling the agreement now. So, the people who intercepted our guests some time ago were also you. Sima Lu Xian stood in front of Sima Yue and looked at the man coldly. We won't do such a brainless thing. The man said. It will only work when people are here. What do you mean? Ha ha ha, to tell you the truth, your guests are now poisoned. If you don't want anything to happen to them, you should obediently surrender. After that, we will naturally give them the antidote. Jiang Kuan laughed at the side. Chapter 1683. 1 second to remember. Love divided by you? Read book web. Update fast, no pop-up window, free to read. As soon as Jiang Kuan's words fell, the people present were a little panicked. Those guests were worried that they were really poisoned, and they used their spirit power to check. The Sima family was also worried that something would happen to the guests here, and quickly asked the doctor to check. Who told you to do this? Not only the people here, but the Yu family was also surprised. I have my own arrangements. No matter what the process is, as long as the result is the same. Jiang Kuan laughed. Master Yu, our purpose is the same. Do you know how many people you will offend by doing this? The Yu family recognized that there were many people below who were on par with their Yu family, and there were even some who were more powerful than them. If they offended all of them, and everyone came to deal with them, then their Yu family would end up like the Yang family. Sima Lu Xian looked at Jiang Kuan, and then looked at the Yu family, and had some thoughts in his mind. It seems that the targeting of the guests had nothing to do with the Yu family. The person who intercepted and got Jiang Kuan to poison them halfway was not them, but someone else. Sima Lu Yun, have you thought about it? As long as your Sima family surrenders, we will immediately give them the antidote. Jiang Kuan said. No one has the antidote for this poison except us. You want us to surrender? Don't even think about it. Sima Lu Yun snorted coldly. Why, you don't care about the life and death of these guests. Ha ha. Everyone, did you hear that? The Sima family who doesn't care about your life and death. Do you still want to celebrate the birthday of their patriarch? The faces of some guests changed, but no one said anything, waiting for the Sima family's decision. Maybe some of them wanted to do something, but seeing that most people didn't move, they couldn't jump out alone to accuse the Sima family. And seeing that the expressions of the Sima family didn't change, each of them had a card up their sleeve, so there should be no problem. The poison you said, are you referring to that person? Sima Lu Yun glanced below, and immediately someone brought a person dressed in the Sima family's servant costume, and tied up. Seeing the person tied up, Jiang Kuan's face changed. You are not poisoned? He exclaimed. You want to poison my Sima family with such a person? You're looking down on us too much. Sima Lu Feng said delightedly. Say it. What other tricks do you have? Hurry up and use it. After this, I'm afraid I won't even have the chance to talk anymore. Next move? What other tricks did he have up his sleeve? His most effective move had been nipped in the bud by them. What other moves did he have? How is that possible? He clearly sent a message back saying that he had succeeded. How could he have been caught by you? He kept shaking his head. Don't you know that there's a word called coercion and bribery? Sima Yue looked at him as if he was an idiot. However, this person isn't from your Qingling sect, right? Other than the Yu clan, there's someone else behind you. What? The people who were most surprised were not the people from the Green Spirit sect who had been exposed, but the Yu family. Ha ha ha. Surnamed you, you've all been taken for fools. Sima Lu Feng clutched his stomach and laughed. Jiang Kuan, is what they said true? Elder Yu, whether there's someone behind us or not has nothing to do with the cooperation between us. Our purpose is to kill the Sima family and Sima Yue. As for the rest, why bother so much? Jiang Kuan said. The Yu clan man snorted coldly but didn't say anything. Sima Lu Yun, even if you didn't poison them, you won't be able to escape death today. Elder Yu, it's impossible to be kind to them today. It's better to take action and settle this quickly. Jiang Kuan said. The Yu clan also knew that they couldn't be kind today and didn't plan to be. He waved his hand and those who came out just now attacked the Sima family's guards. The Sima family's people were not weak either. They all went up and a group of people fought directly above the Sima family. Fortunately, their defensive array was automatically activated when they were attacked, so they didn't destroy the Sima family's house. Patriarch, the spirit skills outside are quite beautiful. This spectacular scene can also be seen as fireworks for your birthday, Sima Chi-Chi said with a smile. Well, not bad. Sima Zhiyuan liked these words very much. These people dared to find trouble with the Sima family, and chose to do it on his birthday. They were so annoying. The guests were a little shocked when they saw them talking and laughing. This Sima family was just a small force. How could they be so calm in the face of the families of the 16th state? Brother Zhiyuan, if there's anything you need, we can also help, He Zhenjiang said. Ha ha ha. You are all guests of my Sima family. How can you let the guests fight? The Yu clan only sent some people over, not all of them. My Sima family can still resist. Come, everyone eat and drink to your heart's content. Sima Zhiyuan greeted everyone with a smile. The guests looked at each other, and their eyes had the same meaning. When did the Sima family become so greedy? Even if they had a genius descendant, they couldn't challenge a big family, right? But looking at the Sima family, it seemed that they really didn't put the Yu clan in their eyes. Since the host was like this, what could they, the guests, say? So they all began to eat and drink. This time, they invited the chef of Memory Restaurant. Now more or less, the people of the mainlands like to eat at Memory Restaurant, so everyone liked today's meal very much. They could eat delicious food, and there was a good show to watch. This was the first birthday banquet. Sima Yue stood in the air, and didn't make a move. After she called Little Seven and the others out, she locked herself in a space lock, so the spiritual skills around her couldn't hurt her at all. The Yu clan thought that these guards should be easy to deal with, but they didn't expect to encounter a tough bone. They couldn't take down the Sima family at all. I've long heard that the Sima family has a spiritual skill that can merge contract beasts and humans into one to increase their strength. Seeing it today, it really lives up to its reputation. The guests below said enviously. They could all see that the Sima clansmen were slightly weaker than the Yu clansmen, but after they called out their contracted beasts to fuse with them, their strength increased greatly. The Yu clansmen didn't have any advantage at all. Instead, most of their people were killed. Sima Yue looked at Jiang Kuan, who was stubbornly resisting. Aren't you going to contact the people behind you now? Jiang Kuan looked at the one-sided situation, and didn't dare to count on the Yu clan anymore. He took out a piece of jade and crushed it, then pulled his wife back and no longer participated in the battle. At this time, there was a change in space. Sima Yue looked up and saw a door open in the air, and a group of people wrapped in black appeared in front of everyone. Sima Yue narrowed her eyes when she saw these people. These people in black were similar to those who caused trouble in the central regions. Chapter 1684. Sima Luxian estimated that there were hundreds of men in black, and each of them was strong. If it was the Sima family's previous strength, it would not have been easy to deal with these people. Although they had the advantage in numbers, numbers didn't matter in front of a true expert. But now, these few hundred people were not enough to hurt them. My lord. Jiang Kuan bowed to the leader of the black-clothed men. A bunch of trash. The black-clothed man glanced at Jiang Kuan contemptuously with his exposed eyes. Jiang Kuan couldn't even handle such a small matter. If it weren't for the hatred between him and the Sima family, he would have killed him now. Jiang Kuan was scolded, but he did not dare to refute anything. He just nodded in agreement. However, the sect master of the Qingling sect was very angry. He wanted to go forward and argue, but was stopped by Jiang Kuan. Jiang Kuan shook his head at her. Although the sect leader was angry, she calmed down. Sima Yue was watching from the side. The sect leader really had some feelings for Jiang Kuan. Who are you? Sima Lu Feng asked. The one who will take your life. The leading black-clothed man snorted. Go, leave no one from the Sima family alive today. You. Cloud guards, go. Sima Lu Yun waved his hand, and those guards from before retreated. Cloud guards flew up from below and fought with those black-robed men. This was the first time Sima Yue saw the cloud guards fight. Their strength was much stronger than ordinary guards, and their contracted spirit beasts were also more powerful. so their strength after fusion was even more powerful. He didn't seem to be at a disadvantage when fighting with those black-clothed men. Father, Uncle Yun, it's great-grandfather's birthday today. It's not good to drag it out and let the guests laugh at us, Sima Yue said. End it quickly, Sima Lu Yun ordered. When the cloud guards heard this, they immediately retreated. They removed the fusion and called out their contracted ancient spiritual beasts. The appearance of the archaic spiritual beast shocked everyone. A few hundred ancient spirit beasts. This was a huge sum that even the hidden tribes could not take out. The cloud guards merged together once more. Each of them had a primordial aura, and their combat prowess was even stronger. You guys can go too. The earlier we settle this, the earlier we can get this over with, Sima Lu Xian said to the guards who had retreated. Those guards also took out their archaic spiritual beasts and attacked again after fusing with them. Just now, the ancient spirit beasts had not been digested, and these people revealed their own ancient spirit beasts. The guests and the people outside were frightened once again. Sima family head, you actually have so many ancient spirit beasts. Someone said enviously. Ha ha ha. These are all things that you brought back from the ancient mines. At that time, it was just some ores. Who would have thought that there would be so many ancient spiritual beasts? We were also very surprised at that time. Sima Zhiyuan laughed. She brought all of them back. Everyone looked at Sima Yue in a different light. Yeah, Yue has inherited her father's talent, and is very talented in seeking out spirits, Sima Zhiyuan said proudly. Isn't she an array master and alchemist? I didn't expect him to be a seeker spirit master, someone whispered. That's right. I always tell her not to bite off more than she can chew. She should just focus on one subject. But this was because he was too talented and learned everything very well. So I just let him be. When everyone heard this, they all rolled their eyes in their hearts and said that he was showing off. However, I heard that those people from the primordial era are looking for primordial spirit beasts everywhere. If they know that you have contracted so many primordial spirit beasts, will there be trouble? He Zhenjiang was also shocked in his heart, but his concern was also genuine. You don't have to worry about that. Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior already knew that we have so many ancient spirit beasts. They know. Yes. Sima Zhiyuan nodded. Little Lucky had been following Sima Yu the entire time, and Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior had naturally been paying attention to their situation. He had long known about the Sima clan's contract with the ancient spirit beasts, but he didn't say anything. I heard that the ancient spirit beasts sent many gifts to Paramount Valley's Valley Lord's wedding. They said that they were for Yu Yue. Is she on good terms with the ancient spirit beasts? Someone asked. Yu Yue and Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior have nothing to do with each other, but his son likes her and often stays by her side, Sima Zhiyuan said. Everyone looked up and saw little Lucky, who had come out of the spirit pagoda and was lying on Sima Yue's head watching the show. Some of the people present had seen Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior before. Now that they saw the miniature version of Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior, they were very surprised. However, they did not feel the power of a contract from him. He didn't contract with Yue, right? No, he is Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior's only son. How would we dare to contract with him? It's just that he likes Yue more, so he sticks to her. When they heard this, everyone had different thoughts. However, their understanding of Sima Yue had increased by another level. She had contracted so many ancient spirit beasts and he did not pursue the matter. There was no one else who could have such a good relationship with ancient spirit beasts. Why didn't they have such a relationship? The news of the Sima family having ancient spirit beasts had never been made public, so no one knew about it. The black-robed men were not prepared for this sudden turn of events. The situation was almost one-sided. The black-robed men, Yu family and Green Spirit sect were not able to touch the Sima family. Instead, they were almost annihilated by the Sima family. Don't think that you can escape this calamity just because you have these. The leader of the black-robed men took out a signal and sent it out. Then he sneered. No matter what, you can't escape death today. When he spoke, his gaze was fixed on Sima Yue. His eyes were filled with killing intent, as if he had a deep hatred for her. Sima Yu wouldn't be frightened by a single glance from him, but her heart was filled with curiosity. These people were obviously here for her, but she didn't know which group it was. Damn, she had unknowingly made so many enemies. Not long after that person sent out the signal, there was another movement in the space. This time there were not many people who came out. There were only a dozen of them, but it made everyone's expression change. These people were all Paragon-ranked experts. This time, even Sima Lu Yun and the others frowned. Sima Ji Yuan wanted to come up, but Sima Yue turned around and smiled at him. Great-grandfather, today is your birthday banquet. How can you leave the guests alone? Just leave these people to us. Why do we need you to come out? Sima Ji Yuan knew Sima Yu's trump card. After thinking about it, he did not move and called out to the guests. Come, 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 everyone continue to eat. Seeing that they were so calm, the guests smiled and went back to eating and drinking. After Sima Yue finished speaking, she came to Sima Lu Xian and the others. Looking at the black-robed men who came out, she said impatiently, "Do you still have a backup plan? If you do, call them all. This time, even if you don't find it troublesome, we do. Who dares to be disrespectful to my master?" Just as she finished speaking, a group of people rushed over from all directions. Chapter 1685. The onlookers thought that more people were coming. When they turned around, they realized that they were all transformed spirit beasts. "Young miss, we're here." An old man grinned as he ran to Sima Yu's side and bowed respectfully. "Why did you all come out?" Sima Yue looked at these people, "Oh no, birds," and asked. Their agreement was not to come out without her order, right? These evildoers are too boring. One of them will come in a while. We are worried about young Miss safety, so we came to exterminate them. The old man laughed. Exterminate them? Did you see their strength clearly? Sima Yue asked in amusement. The old man was stunned. They did not notice the strength of these people just now. They only saw groups of people coming and were worried about Sima Yu's safety, so they ran over. It didn't matter if he didn't look, but when he did, he was still shocked. Why are there so many high-level Paragon experts? This old man was also a high Paragon, but the others weren't. There were only 4 or 5 bird race members, and the others were still a bit weaker. They did not expect the other party to send so many people to deal with Sima Yue. People of the bird clan, it's best that you don't interfere in today's matters. Although your bird clan is powerful, distant water can't quench your present thirst. You'd better stay at the side. Humph, you dare to make a move on young miss? You must have eaten a bear's heart and a leopard's gall. Aren't you afraid of my bird race's revenge? The old man shouted. Now that she's dead, can you birds still unite? Besides, you can't find out who we are, so who are you going to take revenge on? The man laughed sinisterly. Your bird clan is indeed powerful, but the only thing you're lacking is that you didn't bring your elders with you today. Even if that's the case, you won't be able to touch a single strand of her hair today. The old man was no longer smiling as he stood in front of Sima Yue with a serious expression. Sigh, I never thought that Crimson Flame would one day become the reason why you want to kill me. Do you want the bird race to be in chaos, so that the world will be in chaos? Let me think, who is behind you? Northern Du clan? Or the Eastern Lai clan? Or the Ouyang clan? Oh, it shouldn't be the Xianqiu clan, right? Humph, you won't be able to guess our identities. If I go to hell, I might be able to guess a thing or two. Sima Yue sighed again and said, It seems like I won't be able to get anything out of him today. Aunt Xiang, I'll have to trouble you again. As soon as she finished speaking, the door to the little realm opened, and Feng Xiang and the others appeared. Feng people's people. The other party recognized Feng Xiang and the others at a glance. Why are you so surprised? Don't you know what happened in the Lost Land? Don't you know that my family's Yue is the young miss of the Feng people? Sima Lu Feng clicked his tongue and sighed. Even so, you still dare to come and seek death. You really have guts. Aunt Xiang, I'll have to trouble you to clean up these people. Sima Yue said to Feng Xiang. Today is great-grandfather's birthday. Aunt Xiang, you guys in this quickly. Don't let the guests see you as a joke. Yes, Mississippi, Two of the Feng people's people stayed by Sima Yu's side to guard, while the others attacked those men in black. Those pitiful men in black. They just came and didn't even have the chance to show off before they were taken to the air by the Feng people to be cleaned up. The remaining people were handed over to the cloud guards. Sima Yue pulled Xiaoxi down from the head and stood beside Sima Luxian, watching those people fight. Very quickly, those people were subdued and all of them were taken away. As for those people who were dragged away by the Feng people to fight, their lives were left in the air, and none of them returned. From the beginning to the end, the Sima family's people were Sima Luxian's generation and Sima Yu's generation. These people weren't worthy of the higher-ups of the family to come out. When the battle ended, the banquet was almost over, and the guests left one after another. And the news of the Sima family's incident that day spread quickly. After that, there was a lot of news that other than ancient spirit beasts, the Sima family also had many rare elixirs. They also won a certain elixir competition, and it was said that they recently found another mineral vein. Later on, the Sima family's actions became more high-profile, and gradually performed well in alchemy, arrays, spirit-seeking and other aspects. At this time, everyone discovered that the Sima family had quietly risen. I didn't expect the Sima family to hide the news so tightly in the past. It's only been a few years, and their strength has increased so much. I don't know how powerful they will be in the future. He Zhenjiang went back and heard the news, and he was very emotional. When the incident with the Jiang family happened that year, the Sima family was just an inconspicuous family. I didn't expect them to become so powerful in just a few years. Su Lunyan was also very emotional. Madam, did you notice that these are all external conditions? The Sima family hasn't been rising for a long time, so their strength didn't increase much. They are so powerful now because of the accumulation of external conditions. He Zhenjiang said. You're right, but with these external conditions added together, their overall strength is very strong. In time, their internal strength will increase, and they will be a famous sect in the future. Su Lunyan replied. And all of this was brought by Yu. It would be great if we also had such a powerful junior. Sister, you said that the changes in the Sima family were brought by Sima Yue. When Su Yang spoke to his sister, the hostility on his body lessened. Yes. Su Lunyan talked about the situation of the Sima family. Although the Sima family was very low-key these years, there were some changes. The He family was close to them, and they paid more attention to the Sima family, so they knew about these small changes. They knew that the Sima family was getting stronger, but they didn't expect that when they showed their trump card, it would be so shocking. This Sima Yu's luck is really good. Su Yu's words were still a little envious. Sai, this is not a good thing. Su Yang said. Sai. He Zhenjiang and Su Lunyan sighed. Only Su Yu didn't know why the three of them were frowning. Other than them, the others were also talking about the Sima family, their ancient spirit beasts, their ancient pills and so on. For a moment, the Sima family's name could be heard in the streets and alleys. As for the Sima family, after Sima Ji Yuan's birthday, those who came back to wish him a happy birthday left one after another, and the family returned to how it was before. However, it seemed to be a little different. In Sima Yu's words, these guys were all smiling now, and they were in good spirits. After sending the guests away, Sima Ji Yuan brought Sima Yue to interrogate those people who were caught that day. Originally, Sima Yue didn't have to go, but Sima Ji Yuan still called her. At that time, it would be more effective than any other method to probe her divine sense. Chapter 1686. However, Sima Yue did not have much hope. If those people really understood her, they would know that she could use spiritual consciousness. Moreover, judging from the fearless looks of those people before, they should have come prepared. Based on the careful style of those men in black, they would not leave any traces behind. As expected, Sima Yue had discovered restrictions in their sea of consciousness. If she tried to break through them forcefully, their sea of consciousness would shatter. Not only that, as long as they wanted to confess, they would die. There was no way to break the spell. Therefore, after some effort, they did not receive any news at all. Actually, it's not like we didn't gain anything. Sima Hishun said when he saw that Sima Jiyuan was very angry. Old fellow, what did you think of? Sima Jiyuan asked. We're all aware of the 16th state's Yu clan's strength, and these black-clothed men are far above them. They must be very powerful to be able to bring out so many high-level ultimate gods at once. To be able to possess these things, it was definitely much better than the Yu clan. I think that other than the hidden clans, no one else would have such a large expenditure. Sima Hishun analyzed. Great uncle, do you think Northern Du family did this? Sima Yue asked. The Yu clan might have been set up by the Northern Du clan, but those black-clothed men shouldn't be. Sima Hishun said. This black-clothed man intends to use you to cause unrest in the Bird clan. I'm afraid that there are even more unknown motives behind it. What about the Donglai clan? I have some enmity with the Eastern Lai clan. This way, I can kill two birds with one stone. The Donglai clan is possible, and so are the other hidden clans. Sima Hishun said. However, now that they know that you have Feng people protecting you, they won't dare to do anything to you. I hope they'll come. At least we'll be able to get some clues. Sima Yue sighed. Oh yeah, I think something's going on with the Yin clan. How so? Sima Yue told her about her discovery of the hidden clan's unusual behavior on the Lost Island. She then shared her conjecture. Eastern Lai Li hates Northern Du Hao very much. However, she got engaged not long after, and was so high-profile during the Crimson Pearl Convention. So I guess that they had some kind of purpose, but I ruined it in the end. I think so. If that is the case, they must think that you are their nemesis. Sima Hishun rarely teased her. Don't you have a good relationship with the young master of the Xianqiu clan? Why don't you ask him? Sima Jiyuan said. Last time, we parted on bad terms with the Xianqiu clan. Now, I don't even know if he's willing to see me. Moreover, regarding the black-clothed men, I wouldn't have suspected the Xianqiu clan in the past. However, judging from the previous incident, the Xianqiu clan might not be involved. If we look for him rashly, we might alert him. Sima Yue had mixed feelings when she thought of Xianqiu He. Then let us investigate this matter. Sima Jiyuan said. Alright, I'll go out for a walk and see if I can get any information. If you want to go out for a walk, then I'll leave this matter to you. Sima Jiyuan took out an invitation and handed it to her. Sima Yue opened it and took a look. It was an invitation from the 5th Province's Yuan clan, saying that they were inviting geniuses from various industries to gather and discuss. This kind of gathering happened frequently in this continent. However, they would usually invite people they were familiar with or those with outstanding talents. In the past, the Sima family would not be invited. However, everyone knew that the Sima family had risen up, and they had a genius like Sima Yue. That was why they sent the invitation. 5th Province's Yuan clan? Sima Yue looked at the person who signed the invitation with a deep gaze. Why? What's wrong with the Yuan clan? Sima Hishun asked. Take a look at this. Sima Yue took out a stack of information and handed it to them. This is the information that I asked the Xian Yuan Pavilion to investigate. The Yuan clan was involved in poisoning your mother? Sima Jiyuan and the others were shocked when they saw it. She actually asked people to investigate this information. Was she planning to take revenge for her mother? I won't let go of what happened back then. I will repay whoever treats my mother well. I won't let anyone who poisoned my mother off either. Sima Yue said faintly. Sima Jiyuan returned the information to her and said, if you want to do it, then do it. Anyway, you don't have to think so much now. They had no reason to stop her from taking revenge for her mother. Furthermore, she had the right to do so now. Are you letting your father go with you? Sima Hishun asked. No. I'll go alone. Sima Yue shook her head. Those people know my father and some of them have grudges against each other. He won't be able to clear them up if he goes. If anything happens to Gu Nianji, I won't be able to take action. Was this fellow planning to destroy their nest? Cough cough, for some things it's better to find the person involved. It's not the family's fault. Sima Hishun reminded. I know. Sima Yue said. If the family is not involved in this matter, I won't kill the innocent. I'm not a bloodthirsty person. Yue has always done things appropriately. Old man, you love to talk too much. Sima Ji Yuan snorted. Although you have the Feng people by your side, you should bring some of the cloud guards with you. Have fun when you're out. We'll investigate the other things. If there's any news, we'll pass it to you. Sima Yue felt Sima Ji Yuan's protection. The corners of her mouth rose and she replied, okay. After leaving the interrogation place, she went to find Sima Lu Xian and told him that she was leaving. I'll go with you, Sima Lu Xian requested without thinking. Father, great-grandfather said that he wants you to investigate the undead and the black-robed men. Sima Yue said, those people want to kill me. If this matter isn't solved, I'll be watched wherever I go. Thinking that someone wants to kill me all the time. This feeling. Okay. I'll investigate. But you have to promise me that if you go to the ghost realm, you must bring me along. Sima Lu Xian patted her head. Okay. Don't worry, the person mother wants to see the most is you. How can I not bring you along? Sima Yue smiled and ran away. This girl. Sima Lu Xian smiled. If she wants to do it, then do it. Young master, what does young miss want to do? The servant behind Sima Lu Xian asked. Didn't you say that the people invited this time were from the Yuan family? At that time, I also suspected that young Miss Yuan poisoned Kaluo. If she just went like this, I wouldn't think anything. But if she doesn't let me go now, I'm afraid that this girl. Sima Lu Xian's eyes were filled with affection. But she can do whatever she wants. Get someone to keep an eye on her. If there's anything, immediately pass it back. As long as it doesn't endanger her life, let her play as she pleases. He had to say that no one knew his son better than his father. Yes, young master. The servant replied from behind. She's right. If the undead and the black-robed men's matter is not solved, she won't be safe. You go and do your work. I'll go and discuss with Feng Zhixing. Sima Lu Xian disappeared after he finished speaking. Chapter 1687. For the sake of convenience, Sima Yue placed all the members of the Cloud Guards in the little realm, and set off alone. That day, she had opened her little world in front of everyone's eyes. Now everyone knew that she had a little world, and there were experts in the little world. Seeing that she was alone, no one dared to bully her. The spaceship heading to the 5th continent was in another city. When Sima Yue took the teleportation array there, she happened to meet the spaceship that would be coming over that day. This place was not very far from Chongzhou City. Sima Yue's name had already spread throughout this place. When everyone saw her, they would greet her warmly. That enthusiasm made even the maids on the spatial ship look at her a few more times. Sima Yue was at the back of the group. She saw that the people in front of her were all given 20,000 upper-grade crystals each. When it was her turn, she also took out 20,000 crystals and handed it to the maid in exchange for a sect. Are you Sima Yue? The servant girl suddenly asked after she received the sect. Yes. What's the matter? Sima Yue stopped. I'm fine. It's just that I've heard about your deeds recently, and I'm a little curious. The maid replied. Sima Yue nodded at her, and went to her room. Every room here would have a clean bed, but she still took out her own small couch and placed it on the ground. Then, she laid down on it and touched the devil's snare bracelet on her left wrist with her right hand. This guy hasn't sent back any news for a long time. I wonder how the situation is in the devil realm. Feng said that the demon realm is also in chaos right now. Sigh, this guy's situation is definitely not optimistic. Otherwise, he would have sent me a message. Her heart sank slightly. I wonder if I can find him in the demon realm. You want to go to the devil realm? What was the demon realm like? When are we going to the demon world? Little Lucky was lying on top of her head and playing with her hair. When he heard her say this, he asked curiously. I'm just thinking about it now. If even Ling Yu couldn't handle it, with my strength, I would only be a burden. Sima Yue said. And if we go there without contacting them, not only will we not be able to find them, we might even lose our lives there. Besides, I can't leave now. But you miss him a lot. Little Lucky stared at her with his round eyes. Since the matter of the undead hasn't been resolved, I can leave without worry. Sima Yue sighed. Mother's matter hasn't been settled yet. If I stay here for too long, she will suffer more over there. I'm more worried that father and the others won't be able to wait, and will run to the ghost realm by themselves. You worry too much. Xiaoxi tugged at her hair. You're so tired. It's much better now. There aren't as many things as before. Sigh, these things should be dealt with one by one. Right now, the most important thing is to take revenge for my mother. If those people hadn't poisoned my mother, and made me consume their spiritual power when I was born, they wouldn't have been so passive. Well, those who covet Uncle Lucien are all bad people. Little Lucky will help you beat up the bad guys. Little Lucky said as he patted his chest. Sima Yue reached out and poked Little Lucky's head. Your father has been so busy recently. Don't you want to go back and share his burden? Father has so many people by his side. Now he's found so many spirit beasts of the same generation. He doesn't need me. It's more fun for me to follow you. Little Lucky wasn't interested in ancient spirit beasts, and didn't plan on taking over his father's job in the future, so he didn't want to go back at all. Sima Yue smiled and didn't rush him. He was still young anyway. It didn't matter if he didn't participate in those things now. I want to eat spirit fruits. Little Lucky let go of her hair, and climbed onto her stomach. Sima Yue took out a plate of spirit fruits, and he carried it to the side to eat. Seeing him eat the spirit fruits without any worries, she smiled faintly. This smile was filled with affection, helplessness, and a little worry. After that, she spent most of her time in the house and rarely went outside. Until someone knocked on her door. She was reading in the house and felt a little strange when she heard the knock on the door. Why was there someone looking for her now? She put down her book and opened the door. When she saw the person standing outside, she was stunned. It's you? Susu smiled at her and said, I heard that you were here, so I came over. I didn't disturb you, did I? No, you didn't. Please come in. Sima Yue moved to the side to let Susu in. Susu smiled and entered the house. When she saw the book on the table, she said, Were you reading just now? Yes. Sima Yue closed the door and poured her a cup of tea. Miss why are you here? You and my uncle call each other brother and sister. You're one generation older than me. You can just call me Susu. I'll call you Yue. How about that? Susu asked. Of course. Sima Yue agreed. How is Lang now? How else can he be? He's the same as always. He's holed up in Tangerine City. His family wants him to go back, but he won't even meet them. His family can't do anything about it. Susu's voice was filled with helplessness when she talked about her willful uncle. Oh right, are you going to the fifth state to attend the Yuan family's invitation? Yes. You too? I'm not. I just happen to have something to do in the fifth state, so I can go with you. Susu said. The Yuan family loves to hold these kinds of gatherings. It's so boring. If you feel bored, you can come find me. You don't seem to like the Yuan family? Sima Yue asked. Susu didn't expect her to notice it so quickly. She smiled a little embarrassedly and said, The Yuan family is all right. I just don't like the young ladies of the Yuan family. What's wrong with those young ladies? They're just arrogant and look down on others. They like to suppress those who are lower in status than them. When they see those who are more talented than them, they get so angry that their noses become crooked. They're like peacocks all day and like to have a bunch of men around them. Susu was familiar with Sima Yue, so she spoke more casually. PFFF. Sima Yue laughed. They bullied you too. Not really. Although my family is in the 49th state, our status is about the same as theirs. They don't dare to bully me. I've only met them a few times. Susu said. Speaking of which, the eldest of them even had fantasies about your father. Really? Yes, I was there at that time too. I happened to see her pestering your father. This young lady Yuan usually looks cold and aloof, as if she's different from her sisters. However, she's still the same deep down. I heard that she had a good relationship with your mother. However, when something happened to them, she didn't even go to see them, much less help. Susu said. Sima Yue was shocked. She didn't expect Susu to know about her parents. Susu, what else do you know? Can you tell me? Chapter 1688. Sima Yue thought that In Susu would know a lot of things, but she shook her head and said, I only know this because I happened to see them. However, I didn't like the Yuan family, so I didn't pay attention to them. This time, I heard that you were going to the Yuan clan. Thinking about how you saved my life last time, I decided to give you a heads up. Sima Yue was a little disappointed, but she soon recovered and chatted with In Susu about other things. Half an hour later, In Susu stood up to leave. Before she left, she took out a jade pendant and placed it in Sima Yue's hand. This is the symbol of our In family. If you encounter any difficulties in the fifth state, you can use this to find our people. If you need anything, you can ask them to do it. In Susu said. Sima Yue wanted to reject the gift. She wasn't close to In Susu, so it wasn't appropriate for her to accept the gift. I know you have the Xianyuan Pavilion behind you, but the Xianyuan Pavilion may not be able to help you all the time. Who knows, it might come in handy when we miss something. In Susu opened the door and left before Sima Yue could refuse. Sima Yue lowered her head and looked at the jade pendant in her hand. She sighed, kept it, and went to lock the door. The reason why In Su had always told him these things and left him such an escape route was because he had saved her, and some of the In family's people back then. For people like them, even if they owed someone a favor, they wouldn't bite the hand that fed them like Eastern Lai Li. However, he didn't like owing people either. If accepting it could make her feel at ease, then he would accept it. In the following days, In Susu did not come to Sima Yue again. Sima Yue was also happy to be idle. She read in her room until a maid came to inform her that she had arrived. She packed her things and went out. She found that many people were already waiting on the deck. She looked around and didn't see In Susu. Miss, she has already disembarked from the ship. The maid seemed to understand what she was thinking and said. Sima Yue was shocked and asked, This spatial ship belongs to the In family? Yes. The maid smiled and said, Young Miss has instructed that in the future, you don't have to pay to ride the spatial ship. With that, she returned the money she had taken from her. Sima Yue finally understood. No wonder In Susu knew that she was on the boat after she came up. It turned out that this belonged to her family. The spatial ship that In Lang had helped him to comprehend previously also belonged to the In clan. This one was also from the In clan. This In clan was indeed powerful and wealthy. He handed over the doorplate and got off the spatial ship. He didn't know anyone around him, so he bought a map of the 5th prefecture at the exit. Although the map was a little expensive, the topography and cities of the 5th state were marked very clearly. There were also some introductions of the forces next to it. Sima Yue looked at the map and recalled the detailed map in her mind. She couldn't help but think of Tua Xiaogong. He said that the map would be useful in the future, but he also seemed to be saying that she would not return to the Lost Lands. She didn't understand what he meant. If she couldn't figure it out, she wouldn't dwell on it. This was her usual style. She believed that everything would work out when the time came. She didn't know now because the time wasn't right. Curiosity killed the cat. This thought of hers had more or less saved her life several times. She found a quiet place to study the map. She knew that the Yuan clan wasn't far from here. If they used the teleportation array, they would arrive in 2 days. However, the Yuan clan was very cautious. The Kongmar city they were in didn't have a teleportation array. They could only go to a nearby city and go there by themselves. This Yuan clan probably has a lot of enemies. That's why they don't even dare to use the teleportation array. They are afraid that someone will kill their way to the back of their nest. Sima Yue knew that Big Miss Yuan might have poisoned Yukuluo and pestered her father. Her impression of the Yuan clan wasn't good. After knowing the route, she kept the map. She planned to use the teleportation array to get to the vicinity before slowly going there. Anyway, it was still early. She wasn't in a hurry. The city closest to Kongmar City was called Fulai City. It was said that Fulai City was a subsidiary city of Kongmar City. The forces inside all looked up to the Yuan clan. It was similar to how the Guo clan relied on the Tao clan. She went to the Spirit Master Guild and wanted to use the teleportation array. Before she even entered the door, she heard a loud cry. Woo woo, all of you get lost. Don't touch me. Woo woo. This voice sounded very young. It was probably around 10 years old. However, it was definitely an arrogant and despotic person. What are you looking at? Look again and I'll let big sister dig out your eyes. The child glared at the surrounding people and said fiercely. Sima Yue glanced over and saw a little girl wearing a fan skirt. Her hair was tied in 2 buns. She was sitting on the side of the road. Her eyes were hazy with tears as she stared at the people present. Unfortunately, this person wasn't cute at all. That pair of eyes destroyed her aura. A man recognized the girl. He stepped forward and said, Xier, why are you here alone? Where are your big sister and the others? Big sister and the others ran away, Xier said. Big brother Mui, Xier couldn't catch up to them. Woo woo woo. Mui saw that Xier was crying so hard. He stepped forward and sat beside her. He softly coaxed her. His subordinates immediately dismissed the onlookers around them. You said that your big sister and the others ran away? How could they run away? It seems that they saw an old enemy and chased after them. Xier cried. You guys go and find the Yuan clan's young ladies. When you find them, tell them that Xier is waiting for them here. Mui ordered his subordinates. Sima Yue was about to enter the Spirit Master Guild when her footsteps stopped. She changed direction and walked towards the opposite tea house. She chose a private room facing the street. When she opened the window, she could see the Spirit Master Guild's entrance and the little girl on the side. The subordinates received the order and immediately left. Soon, they disappeared from the street. After a while, a group of girls ran over. When they saw Yuan Xier, they quickened their pace. Xier, are you okay? The leading girl hugged Yuan Xier. Second sister, third sister, where did you go? Why did you leave Xier here alone? Woo woo woo. Yuan Xier loudly complained. It's all because of our negligence. I thought that your third sister would take you. Your third sister thought that you would follow us. I didn't think that you would be here alone. All right, don't cry. The second daughter of the Yuan clan, Yuan Li, comforted Yuan Xier. That's right. Xier, don't cry. When we go back, I'll let 18th brother give you his ancient contract beast to play with. How about that? The third daughter of the Yuan clan, Yuan Qing, hugged Yuan Xier and comforted her. Second Miss, Third Mississippi Mui bowed to the two. Many thanks to young Master Mui for sending people to find us. Otherwise, I don't know how long she would have stayed here. Yuan Qing said politely. I just happened to come out. I didn't expect to meet Xier. I'm going to Kongmar City. Do you want to come with me? Yuan Li shook her head. We haven't caught that slut yet. Now she's in the city. We'll go back after we catch her. Chapter 1689. Sima Yue was deep in thought as she watched the commotion below. After waiting for the Yuan clan's young ladies to leave, she called out her scarlet bees to follow them from afar. Then she called for the waiter to settle the bill and left. She strolled leisurely on the streets before arriving at an inn and checking in. The waiter brought her to the best room and left. She entered the room alone. She came to the window and pushed it open. She could see the inn not far away, the largest and most luxurious inn in Fortune City. The few young ladies of the Yuan clan lived there. She wanted to see who this Yuan family's young miss was trying to kill. Nothing happened during the day. Scarlet Bee said that the Yuan clan had sent people to investigate. In the middle of the night, the Scarlet Bees sent news that the Yuan clansmen had all moved out. Looks like the other party is very powerful. They actually paid so much attention to him. She must have offended him badly. She muttered softly, and her figure slowly disappeared. West of the city, in the civilian district, a figure was being chased by a group of people. From the way he staggered, it was clear that he was heavily injured. The people who were chasing after him quickly surrounded him. Liang Chuxing, run. Let's see where you can run to today. Yuan Qing walked to the front of the crowd and stared at the man in the middle. Tisk, so many of you were hunting me down, and you even spent a few months hunting me down. In the end, you still managed to win despite being outnumbered. If news of this were to spread, your Yuan clan would be humiliated. That Liang Chuxing was heavily injured and his body was somewhat weak. However, from his calm and composed appearance, It was clear that he did not place the Yuan family in his eyes. With just a few of us, do you think we can spread the news? Yuan Qing snorted coldly. As long as you die, I can avenge my elder sister. What do you mean by taking revenge on your elder sister? I'm the one who's at a disadvantage. You've really blinded me. I've been looking for water to wash my eyes for the past few months. TSK. It's really unbearable. Liang Chuxing said it very painfully, as if he had really suffered some grievances. Get lost. You look at my sister's jade-like body, and you still dare to say that it's dirty your eyes? Today, I will kill you and use your blood to wash away my sister's shame. Yuan Qing said as he condensed his spirit energy and attacked Liang Chuxing. Tisk, you're so ugly that you stain my eyes, and you want to kill me to silence me. The members of the Yuan family were indeed good. However, I want to know, why didn't Yuan Yuqiu come after me personally? Could it be that she was so ashamed that she committed suicide at home? Although Liang Chuxing was injured, he was still able to deal with Yuan Qing with ease, and was even able to tease the Yuan family's eldest Mississippi. My elder sister is busy every day. She doesn't have time to bother with you. Yuan Lily walked in. But we're different. We have plenty of time to waste with you. Second sister, it's not worth wasting time with this kind of person. Today he would die here. Second sister, come and help me. Yuan Qing turned around and called out to Yuan Lily. You step back. Yuan Lily said, and condensed her spiritual power to attack. Yuan Qing took the opportunity to retreat to the side. Yuan Lily's strength seemed to be much more powerful than Yuan Qing's. Liang Chuxing, who had been fighting with ease just now, no longer spoke. He was also somewhat powerless in the battle, and towards the end, several more wounds were added to his body. Bang! PFFF, Liang Chuxing was hit by the spiritual skill and fell from the sky. He fiercely fell to the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. Yuan Lily's body floated down and landed in front of Liang Chuxing. She stared at him coldly. Liang Chuxing, the famous flower thief in the fifth state, will be buried here today. What a pity. If second Miss Yuan feels that it's a pity, why don't you follow me? I will definitely let you enjoy the comfort of being the supreme being in the world. There are also various difficult positions. Oh, with your figure, you should be able to do it. Liang Chuxing covered his chest and said with a smile. Bastard. Yuan Lily was embarrassed and angry. She took out a sword and stabbed it into his stomach. Second sister, you should chop off this kind of person's penis. Yuan Qing said from the side. You're right. Even if you go to hell, you can only be a ghost with a penis. Yuan Lily took out her sword and gestured at his lower body. Only then did Liang Chuxing's expression change. He no longer joked and shouted towards the sky. This friend, you've also watched the show for so long. Seeing that I've acted out a good play for you, why don't you give me a hand? Liang Chuxing, there's no one here. Don't try to divert our attention and use it to escape. You won't be able to escape today. Yuan Qing shouted. Second sister, castrate him. Yuan Lily nodded and raised the sword in her hand to stab down. Accept the punishment. Her lips curled into a cold smile as she stabbed down. Ah! Liang Chuxing subconsciously screamed. How could a flower thief pick flowers without a weapon? Friend! Friend! Liang Chuxing saw the sword fall and screamed, his voice changing. Sigh! A light sigh sounded in his ears. That voice was very soft, and if one didn't pay attention, they wouldn't be able to hear it. But this sigh was like the sound of nature in Liang Chuxing's ears. The other party was willing to make a sound, which meant that they wouldn't just stand by and watch. The sword fell between his legs, but the expected pain didn't come. He raised his head slightly, and saw that the shining sword was indeed inserted in that place. How could there be no pain? Spatial distortion. Yuan Lily and Yuan Qing shouted at the same time. Aha! Liang Chuxing hurriedly retreated a few steps. Sure enough, he saw that his lower body was still fine, and the sword didn't touch his pants. Who's here? Yuan Qing looked around, but didn't feel any fluctuations. The others also looked around vigilantly, but they couldn't feel any fluctuations. Ah, second miss. A servant girl suddenly shouted. What's wrong? Yuan Lily glared at the servant girl in dissatisfaction. There was still an unknown person spying on them. How could she shout at this time? Second miss, he's gone. The servant girl pointed at the place where Liang Chuxing was, but there was no one there. Where is he? Yuan Qing shouted. He was still here just a moment ago. We didn't notice how he disappeared. The servant girl knew that Yuan Qing's temper wasn't good, so she spoke carefully. Sure enough, Yuan Qing slapped the servant girl's face. There are so many people here. How could you not notice how he disappeared? What is the Yuan family raising trash like you for? Third miss. The servant girl lowered her head, feeling wronged. The two young misses had the best spatial talent, but they didn't notice, so how could she? All right, third sister, Liang Chuxing was taken away by someone using the space. Yuan Lily said in a deep voice. Second sister, your spatial attainments are so high, but that person was able to take someone away without making a sound. Could it be that it was an old guy who came? Yuan Qing asked. I don't know who it was. To be able to hide in the space for so long, he definitely isn't an ordinary person. He saved Liang Chuxing, so it will be difficult to kill him next time. It's really infuriating. Let's go back. Chapter 1690. Bang! A certain someone fell to the ground, grimacing in pain. I say, can't you be a little gentler? Liang Chuxing lay on the ground, not even having the strength to move. Sima Yue stood beside him and looked at his injured appearance. She said in disdain, You're a rapist. Do you need others to be polite to you? Only then did Liang Chuxing see Sima Yue's appearance clearly. He was stunned. He had always thought that the person who had saved him was a man, and he should be very old. Otherwise, how could he have taken him away so quietly? He didn't expect to meet such a young and beautiful lady. However, shouldn't this kind of little girl hate people like him? Why would he save her? Could it be that he was more handsome than Panin? Sure enough, he was too handsome and charming. Even the little girl couldn't help but save him. I think I should have waited for second Miss Yuan to make her move before I made my move. Sima Yue glared at him and said faintly, Hee little sister, you're a good person, you won't. Liang Chuxing smiled flatteringly. Is it written on my face that I'm a good person? Sima Yue did not want to talk to him. She sat down at the table and poured herself a glass of water. You have one night. Leave before dawn. Little sister, there's no need to be so heartless, right? Hiss. He moved his hand, but it affected his wound, causing him to grimace in pain. Heartless? Don't tell me that I have to keep a flower thief by my side for it to not be called body and mind. Sima Yue glanced at him. If you eat the pill now, you'll still have the strength to leave before dawn. I don't have any more pills. After being chased by them for such a long time, he had already consumed all of his healing pills. The Yuan clan is indeed troublesome. Liang Chuxing looked at her pleadingly. Little sister, look at how pitiful big brother is, give me some pills to eat. The Yuan family is the #1 family in the 5th state. You actually dared to peek at Miss Yuan. You are quite bold. Sima Yue held the teacup. She didn't say whether she would give it to him or not. I'm not going to see her. She was the one who showed it to me. Liang Chuxing said aggrievedly. I had been sleeping there for a long time. She wanted to go to the hot spring to take a bath, and she even said that I wanted to pick her. TSK, don't you know how pretty she is? Me? Pick her? I wouldn't take it if it was offered to me. However, the Yuan clan refused to give up. I've been on the run for 2 years, but I still haven't shaken them off. Sigh, if master knew about this, he would definitely scold me for not learning enough. Sima Yue was shocked. She had learned of the Yuan family's strength during this period of time. This person was actually able to escape for 2 years. It seemed like his strength was not to be underestimated. However, he was really noisy. A medicinal pill was thrown into his mouth, which immediately shut him up. After a while he continued. This pill of yours is really effective. Little sister, you're willing to give me such a good pill. You have a good heart. Sima Yue rolled her eyes at him. She did not tell him that this was the worst healing pill she had. Little sister. Oh. What did you give me? Liang Chuxing was just about to speak when another medicinal pill flew into his mouth. It was not a healing pill that he was familiar with. It's a medicinal pill that will calm you down. Seeing his eyes widen in pain, she gave a rare explanation. It's good for your body, but it will make you fall asleep. Before she could finish speaking, Liang Chuxing's head tilted to the side and he fell asleep. Sima Yue glanced at him, then turned back to the bed to meditate. As for him, he would just stay on the ground. In any case, this kind of flower thief would definitely have thick skin. When Liang Chuxing woke up, the sky was already bright. He had not slept so comfortably for a long time, which made him feel a little absent-minded. You're awake? If you're awake, then leave. A cold voice woke him up. He sat up and found that he was still lying on the ground. However, his injuries had already healed a lot. He did not expect her medicinal pill to be so effective. Little sister, look at how seriously injured I am. Let me hide for a while. He gave Sima Yue a charming smile, trying to charm her. Sima Yue did not say anything. She used the metal attribute to condense a mirror in front of him. Seeing the sinister face in the mirror, his smile immediately froze. So ugly. I've been disfigured. AI, how will I be able to charm those girls in the future? He howled. However, Sima Yue could tell that he was not really worried. Little sister, look at my face. If I go out, I'll definitely scare those girls. How about you let me go after I've healed? A certain person shamelessly said. Sima Yue did not say anything, and just stared straight at him. Liang Chuxing shrunk his neck from being stared at and said in a wronged manner. Alright, I'll leave. However, can I know little sister's name? I can repay you in the future. If you don't take me, then I'll be very grateful. Let's go. Liang Chuxing stood up and his body swayed. His injuries were still very serious. He slowly walked towards the door. Before he opened it, he heard Sima Yue's voice. Wait. He happily turned around, thinking that she had finally softened her heart and wanted him to stay. However, he heard her say window. She didn't even want him to go through the door. She was really ruthless. However, Sima Yue threw a bottle to him. He opened it and smelled it. It was a high-quality medicinal pill, and there were quite a few of it. Thanks. He walked to the window and turned around to look at her. You're participating in the Yuan family's glazed gathering, right? Sima Yue did not answer him. He smiled and turned around to jump out of the window. After waiting for a while, she came to the window and could no longer see Liang Chuxing's shadow. She did not know if he could successfully escape, but it shouldn't be a problem. They had not been able to kill him for 2 years, so this bit of trouble should not be a problem for him. After another 2 days, the Scarlet Bees following Yuan Li and the others did not send any news of Liang Chuxing being killed. It seemed that he had successfully escaped. She was not interested in Yuan Li and the others, so she checked out of the room and prepared to fly to Kongmar City. This beautiful lady, are you going to Kongmar City? Do you want to rent a flying beast? Our flying beast is fast and stable. It can also find the way to Kongmar City, so you don't have to worry about going astray. It's also very cheap. One trip will only cost 100 high-grade crystals. A man stopped her at the city gate and enthusiastically promoted. Sima Yue thought about it and nodded in agreement. The man immediately called over a giant bird. The giant bird carried a room on its back. It looked fancy on the outside, but she did not know what it was like inside. Young lady, please. The man made a gesture of invitation. Sima Yue jumped up and flew up. Just as she entered the room, the man also sat on it and patted the back of the flying beast. The flying beast spread its wings and flew away. After flying out of Fulai City, Sima Yue looked at the person sitting outside and said, Liang Chuxing, why haven't you been caught yet? Chapter 1691. Love. The man sitting outside was stunned for a moment. Then he ran into the carriage and took off a human skin mask. He looked at Sima Yue and asked, How did you recognize me? With that pair of eyes of yours, you look at everyone with a perverted look. Sima Yue leaned on the chair. Where did you get this? I borrowed it from a friend. Liang Chuxing said with a smile. This is all thanks to your pill. allowing me to live to see my friend. Really? I wonder what kind of person would have a friend like you? Birds of a feather flock together? Sima Yue asked. That friend of mine is a gentleman. Liang Chuxing tried to correct his friend's reputation. Sima Yue rolled her eyes at him. How could the person who was with him be a gentleman? However, she didn't continue to harp on this. Instead, she asked, "Tell me, why are you looking for me? What's his purpose?" "What purpose do I have? Aren't you thinking about your life-saving grace and leading the way for you?" Liang Chuxing said. "Really? If you don't say it now, you won't want to hear it later," Sima Yue said. Liang Chuxing was silent for a moment, then said, "Help me enter the city." Kongmar City? Why? Sima Yue looked at him with interest. Kongmar City has been very strict recently. Normal people can't get in at all. But having an invitation is different. Liang Chuxing said. "Why should I help you? You are a dangerous person. If I bring you into the city, won't I be going against the Yuan clan? I can't afford to offend them." Sima Yue sneered. "As long as we enter the city, I will leave you. I won't bring you any trouble. Isn't the Yuan clan hunting you down? How dare you sneak under their noses? Don't tell me that the most dangerous place is the safest place. In the face of absolute power, this sentence is useless. Besides, we don't know each other. Why should I help a rapist like you?" Sima Yue shrugged and disagreed. "If you want to help me, you can state your conditions. As long as I can do it, I will definitely do it," Liang Chuxing said. Sima Yue smiled and did not reply. Obviously, his condition did not interest her. Liang Chuxing hesitated for a moment before saying, "If you bring me into the city, I'll exchange a piece of information with you." "What news?" Sima Yue saw that he was hesitating. It seemed like this news was more important than a request. "A venerable emperor's tomb is in the fifth state," Liang Chuxing said. "Dizun's mausoleum." Sima Yue murmured softly. She was not as excited as he had expected. "That really is the tomb of the venerable sovereign. I can swear on it. How did you find out?" "A few years ago, I was traveling with a friend and accidentally fell into a mausoleum. It wasn't easy for us to get out, so it's very dangerous inside," Sima Yue said. "Since you're with your friend, how do you know that no one has gone to the mausoleum yet?" "If someone has already gone there before you, then your information is worthless. That won't happen. She won't tell anyone about this," Liang Chuxing said with certainty. "Are you so sure?" "Because she's dead." "The Yuan family did it?" Sima Yue asked. "Is this related to you going to Kongmar City?" Liang Chuxing did not expect that she would be able to guess his purpose with just a few words. He nodded. "I also just received the news that she was killed by the eldest daughter of the Yuan family. Her body was thrown into a mass grave. Since she's already dead, what are you going to do there? Fight the Yuan family?" Sima Yue sized him up. If he had that kind of strength, he would not have been chased for 2 years. "I'm going to collect her body." Although there was still a smile on Liang Chuxing's face, there was still a trace of sadness in his eyes. "So she's your soulmate," Sima Yue said. "Are you really a flower thief? I've never seen such an affectionate and righteous flower thief before." Liang Chuxing restrained all his emotions, his face showing his previous cynicism. "I've always been so loyal, otherwise why would there be so many good sisters willing to follow me? Is that so? How about it? Are you willing to make this deal?" Sima Yue crossed her legs, the fingers of her right hand gently tapping on her knee. She slowly said. She was caught because she knew the location of the emperor's mausoleum. The Yuan family wanted it, but she was infatuated with you and was unwilling to say it. In the end, she was tortured to death by the Yuan family. Am I right? You guessed right. Since that's the case, why are you using this information to exchange with me? You have to know that this is putting the life of your soulmate on the line. Are you willing to do that? Sima Yue asked. I don't have any other choice. I received news last night that she has already been dead for 3 days. If I don't collect her body, she might not even have a skeleton left. Liang Chuxing said. What an affectionate flower thief. Sima Yue chuckled. What's her name? Yinlan. Sima Yoyue's fingers paused. The eldest daughter of the Yun family who was exterminated more than 10 years ago. You know her? Liang Chuxing was surprised. Sima Yue nodded. I've heard of her. I promised to bring you into the city and accompany you to find her skeleton. You don't have to pay me anything. Liang Chuxing frowned. Why? I like her, is that okay? Sima Yue said. Since we've reached an agreement, you can leave now. Now I'm your employer. Liang Chuxing stared at her for a while, then turned to leave and sat in the driver's seat again. Sima Yue waited for him to leave, then took out a stack of documents and flipped to the middle page. She knew about Yunlan, not because her family was exterminated, but because of the information sent by Xianyuan Pavilion. Although Yu Keluo had concealed her identity, she did not hide her tracks, so the information sent by Xianyuan Pavilion included some of the things she had experienced and the people she had interacted with. And Yunlan was in the list. Although she had only spoken a few words for Yu Keluo when she was being bullied, it was still a token of her sincerity, and Yu Keluo was indebted to her. Now that Yunlan's corpse was exposed in the wilderness, as her mother's daughter, she could help collect her corpse, which could be considered as repaying her mother's kindness. However, this journey would not be so smooth. The Yuan family would not let them take her corpse away so easily. 2 days later, Sima Yue and Liang Chuxing arrived at Kongmar City. They dismounted from the flying beast, and the flying beast flew back without waiting for their orders. Liang Chuxing put on the human skin mask from before, and returned to his previous appearance. Let's go in. Wait. Sima Yue pulled him. You're going in just like that. What else can I do? If you do this, I bet that you'll be caught before you're even 10 meters away from the city. Sima Yue said. You have a way? Liang Chuxing looked at her. Sima Yue took out a pill. Eat this. I guarantee that your parents won't recognize you. Chapter 1692. The corner of Liang Chuxing's mouth twitched. He took the pill and sniffed it before taking it away in disgust. What kind of pill is this? Why is it so smelly? The transformation pill can temporarily change your appearance. This is a pill that I recently researched. Sima Yue beamed at him. Eat it, this way we can go in. But it's so smelly. Liang Chuxing frowned, feeling very disgusted. It's up to you whether you want to eat or not. Sima Yue did not persuade him. If you don't want to eat, I'll go in by myself. After saying that, he turned around and was about to leave. I'll eat it, okay. Liang Chuxing pinched his nose with his hand, closed his eyes, and swallowed the medicinal pill with a look of generosity. Sima Yue saw that his eyebrows were so furrowed that they could squash a fly. She pursed her lips and snickered. When Liang Chuxing opened his eyes, she immediately hid her smile, but the smile in her eyes did not disappear. Liang Chuxing naturally saw the smile in her eyes and snorted. You're not playing with me, right? Why didn't I feel anything at all? Did my appearance really change? Sima Yue took out a mirror and placed it in front of him. An unfamiliar face appeared in the mirror. His facial features were ordinary, and it was hard to find him in a crowd. Not only that, but even his aura had changed. He reached out and touched the left side of his face. The person in the mirror also touched the left side of his face. Only then did he believe that his appearance had really changed. Amazing! It actually worked. He reached out to pinch his own face, and sighed with amazement. How did you refine this pill? Are there any more? Can you give me a little more? This way, I won't be afraid of being hunted down if I fail to pluck the flower. Sima Yue smiled at him. You can have the shape-shifting elixir or pick the flowers. I'll chop off your D*CK first. Then you can have as many form transformation pills as you want. Since we know each other, I'll give you a 15% discount. Liang Chuxing hurriedly retreated a few steps, his hands placed in front of him as he looked at her vigilantly, the corner of his mouth twitching. Little sister, you're so ruthless. You want me to die without any descendants. Let's go. It's time to enter the city. Sima Yue ignored him and walked into the city. When she arrived at the city gate, a guard came forward to stop her. I'm sorry, Mississippi Kongmar City doesn't allow outsiders to enter. Do you have an invitation? Sima Yue took out the invitation card. The guard took it and opened it. When he saw the name inside, he looked at her in surprise and then respectfully handed the invitation card back to her. So it's Miss Yue. My master has been waiting for you for a long time. Please come to the place we have arranged for you. The guard waved behind him, and someone immediately ran over. Bring Miss Yue to the courtyard where she is staying. When the man heard that it was Sima Yue, he was stunned for a second, but soon made a gesture of invitation. Sima Yue followed the guard and left. Liang Chuxing followed. When he entered the city, he even saw his portrait on the city wall. It's so ugly, he whispered, causing Sima Yue to give him a sidelong glance. Liang Chuxing curled his lips. It was really ugly. He was handsome and elegant, so how could he be painted with such a wretched appearance? If it wasn't for someone leading the way, she really wanted to slap him twice. No matter how she looked at him, he was wretched, but he was actually so narcissistic. The guard brought them into the city and got on an arranged beast carriage. After driving for more than an hour, they arrived at a quiet courtyard. My miss heard that Miss Yue likes peace and quiet, so she arranged this courtyard. It's very quiet here and not far from the city center. The guard brought them in. The pavilions inside were arranged properly and complemented each other. It looked really good. There are maids and guards here. If Miss Yue needs anything, you can tell them. Okay, thank you. The guard brought her to see the housekeeper of the courtyard, and then left. The housekeeper was a woman called Ru Shui. She bowed to Sima Yue and said, Miss Yue, please follow me. I will bring you to the small courtyard where you live. Sima Yue followed her to the courtyard where she lived. Looking at her room, from the moment she entered until now, she found that the decorations were all according to her preferences. There was nothing that she disliked. Were all these ordered by Miss Yuan? She asked Ru Shui. Yes. Miss Yuan knew that you were coming and specially asked us to arrange this courtyard. Ru Shui wanted to make her mispresence known, but unfortunately, she met someone who didn't buy it. Sima Yue only nodded. I'm a bit tired and want to rest. Ru Shui seemed to have something to say, but when she heard her words, she could only swallow her words and said, Then miss, you rest well. This servant won't disturb you. Thank you, Steward Ru. Oh right, Miss Yue, is this your only guard? Do you need to arrange a separate courtyard for him? Ru Shui asked. It's just him. There's no need to trouble yourself. Just let him find a room to stay in, Sima Yue said. Okay. Ru Shui arranged a room for Liang Chuxing, and then said that if there was anything, he could call her at any time and left. Liang Chuxing came to Sima Yue's room and kept staring at her. Are there flowers on my face? Sima Yue glared at him. Liang Chuxing sat opposite her and sighed. You are Sima Yue? Why can't I? Sure. Why can't I? Liang Chuxing said with a smile. I heard your name before and heard that you are very beautiful. I even wanted to pick you up when I had time. I didn't expect to meet you so soon. Pung. The teacup in Sima Yue's hand directly hit his face. Liang Chuxing couldn't dodge in time, and was hit on the forehead. The tea spilled all over his face. Pfff. He spat out a tea leaf and wiped the tea on his face. He said innocently, You don't have to be so agitated, right? I can be even more agitated. Do you want to try? Sima Yue sneered. She took out a small knife and waved it twice. Cough, don't. Liang Chuxing quickly waved his hand. Hee, I was just thinking about it. I didn't really dare to do anything. Don't be angry, hee. Actually, you can try. Do you want to pick me first, or do I want to castrate you first? Why don't we have a competition, how about it? The bright blade reflected the light, and Liang Chuxing felt that her smile was even colder. Try what? I didn't say anything just now. I don't have any thoughts. He pretended to be stupid and quickly changed the topic, asking, When are we going to find Yunlan's corpse? Do you know where the mass grave is? West of the city. Why is this mass grave not outside the city but inside the city? Chapter 1693. Why are you in the city? Isn't this related to the Yuan clan's brutality? Liang Chuxing ridiculed. It is said that people often die, and in order to punish those who died, they specially opened up a place to pile up the corpses. Over time, it became a mass grave. It turned out that the Yuan clan was such a brutal clan. No wonder the young ladies they raised were all arrogant and despotic. We are in the east of the city, and the mass grave is in the west. I'm afraid it will take some effort to retrieve the body. Sima Yue said, but that's not the most important thing. I'm just afraid that the Yuan family will send someone to wait there to catch you. Liang Chuxing also felt that this was very likely. If it wasn't to attract me here, how could the news of Yunlan's death have spread? However, I guess they only know that someone discovered the tomb with Yunlan, but they don't know that it was me. Otherwise, Yuan Lily and the others wouldn't have tried to kill me in Fulai City. I think so. But it's also possible that they know it's you, but Yuan Lily and the others outside don't. Sima Yue said. No matter what the reason is, you'd better not show up in your original appearance. Speaking of which, how long can your form transformation pill last? Liang Chuxing asked. Take one every 10 days. When you return to your original appearance, eat it and maintain your current appearance. If you eat it after changing back to your original appearance, you will have a different appearance. Can't become like this again. The appearance is random. Of course it can't become like this, Sima Yue said. But now everyone knows that I'm your guard. If I go out and get caught, won't you also be implicated? Liang Chuxing still had a bit of conscience and did not plan to drag her into the water. I'll check out the situation there first. If there's an ambush, I'll send someone to lure them away. Then you can go and collect her body. Of course, if you have a better plan, we can discuss it. Your plan is pretty good. I'll go check it out first to see if there's an ambush there, Liang Chuxing said as he was about to leave. That's enough. You stay here. You're such a big target, you'll probably be discovered before you even get close. Sima Yue stopped him. Don't tell me you're going? Although Liang Chuxing said this, he did not intend to let her go. Her strength seemed to be lower than his, so it would be easier for her to be caught if she went. Sima Yue called out a few scarlet bees and gave them some instructions before letting them leave. Sit down and wait for the news. Are they reliable? It wasn't that Liang Chuxing had never seen people raising small spirit beasts to spy on information, but this kind of thing was often easily discovered. Once someone was discovered to be near the mass grave, the Yuan clan would guess that he had come. This made it even more difficult to find Yunlan's body. Don't worry, they are definitely more reliable than you, Sima Yue said in disdain. He dared to doubt her scarlet bees? On this continent, if the scarlet bees claimed to be second in terms of information gathering, no one would dare to claim to be first. Seeing how certain she was, Liang Chuxing also sat back down and waited for the results with her. His heart was very anxious, and after staying in the house for a while, he really could not stay any longer, and went to the courtyard. Sima Yue only glanced at him a few times, and let him walk around the courtyard. A few hours later, the scarlet bees finally returned with news. There seemed to be no one at the mass grave, but in fact, there were many experts hidden not far away. Roughly estimating, there should be more than 10 of them. Yunlan's body had been left there for a few days, so it had already rotted quite badly, but it could still be seen how much she had suffered when she was alive. Liang Chuxing sneered after hearing this. This Yuan clan really thinks highly of me. Since there are people lying in ambush there, then we will proceed according to our plan. Sima Yue said, we will go over tonight. There's no need. I will go over myself tonight, Liang Chuxing said. If you go, I will have to take care of you. It will be even more dangerous. You can handle it alone, Sima Yue said. Today is already the 6th day since Yunlan died. I can't let her stay in the mass grave. So no matter what, I will go and bring her body back tonight. Liang Chuxing clenched his fists, trying to suppress his anger. Looking at you now, are you sure you are not going to die? How many experts can you deal with? Since I promised to help you find her body, I will definitely do it. I will think of a way to lure those people away. You just need to be responsible for collecting the body. Sima Yue was very confident. as if she did not put those experts in her eyes. Liang Chuxing looked at her confident appearance and wanted to believe her. However, he still shook his head. You and Yunlan have never met before. With her personality, she would not let anyone take the risk for her. If I let you face those people, I can't do it. Who said I will go personally? Sima Yue asked. Don't tell me you brought someone else? Sima Yue knew that if she did not tell him the whole plan, Liang Chuxing would not accept it. Although she did not like this flower thief, she had to make sure that someone would collect Yunlan's body. If something happened to Liang Chuxing, then no one would collect her body. Mi-er, come out. She called out. A faint black fog overflowed from the back of her hand, turning into a miniature version of her. This is my contracted beast. When the time comes, he will go and lure those people away. Mi-er, let him see how powerful you are. Oh, it's okay to injure him, but don't cripple him. We still have a mission tonight. Sima Yue instructed. Mi-er nodded and instantly attacked Liang Chuxing. At first, Liang Chuxing could not feel the fluctuation of Mi-er's spiritual power and underestimated him, thinking that Sima Yue's contracted beast would not be that powerful. In the end, he was beaten up by Mi-er until he was lying on the ground, unable to get up. Didn't I tell you to be careful? Sima Yue said. Eating a pill will not affect the work at night. Mi-er said disdainfully. That's still a waste of my pill. Sima Yue knocked on his head. Don't you know that it's shameful to waste? Mi-er thought about it seriously and nodded. You're right, I'll be more careful next time. But this person is too weak, he can't take a beating at all. With such tender skin, he even plucked others. I think he was plucked by others, right? Liang Chuxing, who was lying on the ground. Sima Yue stuffed a pill into his mouth. Because time was tight, she used a better healing pill. Liang Chuxing hurriedly felt the changes in his body. Only then did he know that the pill from last time was far worse than this one. After Sima Yue fed him the pill, she went to sleep on the bed, preparing to take action at night, and a certain someone was once again left on the ground by her. Liang Chuxing was already crying in his heart. Why did he always sleep on the floor after meeting her? Chapter 1694. At night, Liang Chuxing's injuries were much better. Although it looked serious during the day, Mi-er had only left him with external injuries. He would recover quickly. At least he was able to move when he left the house. Sima Yue followed the directions given by the scarlet bees and brought him to the vicinity of the mass grave. There were no signs of human habitation within 10 miles of this place. The wild grass swayed in the cold wind, and from time to time, the howling of the wind could be heard, making this night seem somewhat desolate. When she arrived at the mass grave, she sensed the aura of many experts through the space. Meyer, I'm counting on you. Sima Yue called out Mi-er. Just in case, Mi-er split himself into a few people and changed his shape before flying towards the mass grave. When he arrived at the mass grave, he saw many corpses. He wasn't sure which one belonged to Yunlan, so he pretended to search inside. Yunlan, where are you? Who is it? He looked around and cried out in surprise. The people hiding in the dark thought that they had been discovered, so they all ran out and said, Are you looking for Yunlan's bones? She's not here. Where is she? Come with us and you'll know. You're from the Yuan family, right? You want me to go with you? Don't even think about it. Mi-er shouted. What's the point of talking nonsense with him? There are so many of us. Can't we catch him? Let's go. Mi-er looked at the people who had surrounded him. He found a gap and flew straight into the city. When those people saw him escaping, they all chased after him. Let's go over, Liang Chuxing said. Wait, there's someone else. Sima Yue pulled him back and let Mi-er's second doppelganger go over. Using the same method, he lured a group of people away before using the third doppelganger to lure the last group of people away. After confirming that there was no one here, she brought Liang Chuxing over. Even though there were dozens of skeletons here, Liang Chuxing still quickly found Yunlan. At this time, Yunlan was already rotten beyond recognition. Not a single piece of her clothes was intact. They were all dyed dark red by blood. The air was filled with a rotten smell. Some of it belonged to her, and some belonged to others. Liang Chuxing's eyes were red. Sima Yue stood behind him and could see his trembling body. She could feel his suppressed emotions and the anger he was trying to control. You hurry up, they'll be back soon. She reminded him. I understand. Because of the pressure, his voice was a little hoarse. He took out a coffin and placed Yunlan's body inside. Then he put the coffin away. It's done. He touched his spatial ring, and his voice had already returned to normal. Sima Yue nodded. She conjured flames and burned all the corpses into ashes. This way, their corpses wouldn't be exposed in the wilderness. She brought him along and disappeared from the spot. Mi-Er received the order, and all the clones that were leading those people to escape disappeared, turning into black smoke and dissipating into the air. What's going on? Before those people could figure it out, they saw the flames at the mass grave and shouted, We've been tricked. Unfortunately, it was useless to rush back. Those skeletons had already been burned to ashes. When the wind blew, the air was filled with ashes. Looking at the empty mass grave, those people were so angry that their noses almost crooked. Sima Yue and Liang Chuxing returned to the small courtyard. Mi-Er also returned safely. Dealing with those small fries was a piece of cake for him. If it wasn't for Sima Yue not wanting to make things worse at this time, he would have killed all those people in the mass grave. I'll go back to my room first. Liang Chuxing said to Sima Yue and returned to his room. I don't care what you want to do, you'd better not involve me. Sima Yue warned his back. Liang Chuxing paused and said that he understood. He opened the door and entered his room. Sima Yue looked at the grief emitted from his body and sighed in her heart. Although Liang Chuxing had always said that he was a flower thief, sometimes he didn't know how to control his words. He always talked about his good sister and brother, and sometimes even teased her. But she could see that his gaze was very clear, and not the wretched gaze of a pervert. And looking at him like this, his relationship with Yunlan was not that simple. Also, if it was a normal relationship, he wouldn't have taken the risk to collect her corpse. That night, the atmosphere in the Yuan family was not very good. Many of the masters were furious. Without Yunlan's corpse, they had no way to lure the other person out. They also completely lost the news of the emperor's mausoleum. Sima Yue did not care about how the Yuan family would spend the night. She asked the Scarlet Bees to pay attention to Liang Chuxing's whereabouts, worried that he would do something that would implicate her. But fortunately, although his mood was not very good, he did not do anything excessive. The next day, he went to a shop and stayed for a while before returning. In the afternoon, Ru Shui came to tell her that there was a banquet the next day, and Miss Yuan invited her to attend. She accepted the invitation and said that she would definitely attend the banquet. At this time, she was still in the mood to hold a banquet. This Miss Yuan's attitude was really good. It just so happened that she also wanted to meet her. She wanted to see what kind of person this honey-mouthed person was. The next morning, Sima Yue tidied up and dressed up. She was not as fresh and beautiful as before, but more enchanting and charming. Liang Chuxing saw her, but did not have any reaction. He only said lightly, that Miss Yuan is very difficult to get along with. You should be careful. The other ladies are all idiots without any inner qualities, but they are used to being arrogant and despotic. You better not have a direct confrontation with them. I know. Sima Yue nodded. But you are a guest invited by them. There shouldn't be any problems. Liang Chuxing said and returned to his room. Ru Shui saw Sima Yue coming out alone. She looked behind her curiously and asked, Miss Yue, aren't you bringing your guard with you? Isn't this a gathering between ladies? Why would a man like him go? I believe that with the Yuan family here, I don't have to worry about my safety. Sima Yue smiled at Ru Shui and got on the beast carriage waiting at the door. The beast carriage did not need anyone to drive it. With the Yuan family's logo, pedestrians on the road would automatically avoid it. These spirit beasts were all intelligent. They did not need anyone to drive them away, and could also lead the guests to the gathering place. The venue of the gathering was Yuan Yuchio's courtyard. Today, all the women who were invited to participate in the glazed gathering were invited. Seeing the maidservant at the door, Sima Yue had a feeling that this Yuan family should have strong women and weak men. right? Please show me your invitation. Seeing Sima Yue come alone, the maidservant's attitude was not so gentle. Every time the glazed gathering would invite some talented people with bad backgrounds. The person in front of her didn't even have a maidservant. She didn't know where she came from. Chapter 1695. Sima Yue took out the invitation, and the two maidservants' expressions changed instantly. They immediately became respectful. Her invitation card had the young Miss's personal seal, which meant that the young Miss had personally sent the invitation card. This kind of person was an honored guest of this banquet. Only those with talent and background would have such an invitation. Why didn't such a person bring a few maidservants with him? The servant girl in charge of receiving the guests complained in her heart, but on the surface, she put on a decent smile. Oh, it's Miss Yue. Eldest Miss has been waiting for you for a long time. Please follow me. A maidservant bowed to Sima Yue and led her into the courtyard. Perhaps because Sima Yue's expression was not very good, the maidservant did not dare to say anything along the way, and took her to find Yuan Yuqiu. Eldest young Miss Yue is here, said the maidservant at the door. Come in. The voice that responded was indeed a little cold. Sima Yue went in and saw a woman in white painting. There was not a single servant girl in the room. She raised her head when she heard the commotion. When she saw Sima Yue, she was stunned for a moment. Yue greets Miss Yuan. Sima Yue bowed to her. Yuan Yuqiu returned to her senses and smiled at Sima Yue. Are you Yue? Have you gotten used to living here these past 2 days? Very good, Sima Yue smiled. Yue has to thank Miss Yuan for taking care of me. She knew why Yuan Yuqiu was in a daze just now. After Sima Luxian returned, she had seen Yukuluo's portrait. She was already 70% similar to her mother. Now that she had dressed up, the two of them were 90% similar. For people who had not seen her for a long time, she could be mistaken for the real Yukuluo. Yuan Yuqiu came over from behind the table and said, You really look like your mother. We used to travel together, but in the end, I didn't expect that she and your father would end up like this. My mother loves my father. Although they are separated now, they are both willing to endure the hardships of their relationship. Sima Yue smiled. Yes, they were really close at that time. Yuan Yuqiu said with emotion. I heard that your father has returned? Why didn't he come with you? Sima Yue cursed in her heart. As expected, he came for her father. But the smile on her face remained unchanged as she said, Miss Yuan, your mother and I were good sisters at that time. You don't have to call me Miss Yuan, just call me Aunt Chiu. Yuan Yuqiu interrupted her, trying to get closer to each other. Aunt Chiu. Sima Yue rolled her eyes in her heart and continued. A while ago, on great-grandfather's birthday, the Sima clan was attacked by bandits, right? Yes. There are so many people in your family. There's no need for him to personally investigate. Does he feel at ease letting you come to such a faraway place alone? What's there to worry about? Sima Yue smiled at her proudly. I was the one who took care of those spiritual paragons back then. Whoever wants to take action against me, isn't that asking for death? I actually hope that those people will come looking for me, so that I can settle the score with them. Yuan Yuqiu's eyes darkened, and she felt a little suffocated. Of course, she knew that Sima Yue did not come alone. There were many people from the Feng people in her little realm. She wasn't the only one who knew about this. Perhaps the entire continent knew about this. But who dared to have designs on her? Unless they could waste dozens of pinnacle venerable rank experts to stall the Feng people, and not be afraid of the Feng people's revenge in the future. Anyone who had a peak-level venerable would have to consecrate them. No one would be so generous as to waste dozens of them. Therefore, it could be said that she could do whatever she wanted on the continent. How is your father now? Where had he been all these years? I sent people to look for him at the beginning, but there was no news at all. Sima Yue could see that it was a gathering of young ladies. It was simply to ask her about Sima Luxian's situation. My father is very good. Thank you for your concern, Aunt Chiu. It's just that he has been worried about my mother and is depressed all day long. It's useless to persuade him. After speaking, she let out a long sigh. Your mother has been caught and sent to the ghost realm. Your father is still thinking about her? It's not that I want to say this, but you are his daughter. Persuade him more and let him take it easy. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. She really wanted to scold her for saying that, but she endured it and swallowed the sentence. Aunt Chiu, we are here. What about the guests? Second sister is there to greet them. We will go over in a while. Yuan Yuqiu said. When Sima Yue heard her say this, she couldn't say anything else and waited for her to continue. Sure enough, after waiting for a while, Yuan Yuqiu spoke again. Yue, your father went to investigate those things. Will he be okay? If there's anything you need, you must tell me. I have a good relationship with your parents. If there's anything, I will do my best to help. TSK, I won't look for you. Sima Yue couldn't stand her pretentious look and said, Aunt Chiu, let's go to the banquet. I want to see those geniuses. Yuan Yuqiu looked at her, held back the unhappiness in her heart, and said, That's right. The banquet is about to end. Let's go. Yuan Yuqiu walked in front, and Sima Yue walked one step behind her. Until now, she still couldn't be sure whether Yuan Yuqiu was the one who poisoned her. However, what was certain was that she used her mother's relationship to get close to her father. Until now, she still hadn't given up on her father, and was beating around the bush to get in touch with him again. Her father was her mother's. How could other women covet him? However, it was still a bit difficult to determine whether she was the one who poisoned her. She had to confirm this matter before the end of the glazed gathering. After leaving the courtyard, Yuan Yuqiu became the person who was rumored to be outside again. Along the way, she didn't speak or smile and looked very cold. As soon as she arrived at the banquet hall, she heard the laughter coming from inside. It was all women's voices, and Yuan Qing's exaggerated laughter. Yuan Yuqiu took her in, and it immediately quieted down. Big sister, you're here. Yuan Qing saw Yuan Yuqiu and ran over. Her flowery clothes really looked like a peacock spreading its tail. Let me introduce you. This is Sima Yue from the Sima family. Yuan Yuqiu introduced Sima Yue to them. When those people heard that she was Sima Yue, the way they looked at her changed. Sima Yue smiled at them and felt a gaze full of killing intent. The killing intent disappeared in a flash, and when she looked again, she couldn't see who it was. Chapter 1696. The banquet didn't last very long, and everyone dispersed after half a day. During the banquet, Sima Yue did not feel the murderous intent anymore, but she became alert. The murderous intent she felt when she entered the room was not an illusion. It meant that the other party really hated her. However, she didn't feel anything after that, which meant that the other party was suppressing her. It would be difficult to deal with someone with such good self-control. However, he would just have to deal with whatever came his way. As for the others, during the banquet, perhaps because of her identity, or because they thought she was Yuan Yuqiu's woman, in short, many people came to flatter her and wanted to chat with her. Sima Yue said perfunctorily. She wanted to hide in the corner and not be discovered, but Yuan Yuqiu mentioned her from time to time, so she hid beside Yuan Yuqiu. Although those people were curious about her, they were also a little afraid of Yuan Yuqiu, and did not dare to come over blatantly. She also had a lot of peace and quiet. At least, in front of outsiders, Yuan Yuqiu did not show such eagerness. After the banquet, she went out with everyone and declined Yuan Yuqiu's offer to see her off. There are still a few days until the glazed assembly. You can walk around the city and see if there's anything you're interested in. I'll be busy these days, so I can't show you around in person, but if there's anything, you can send someone to tell me. Yuan Yuqiu took her hand and said kindly, I understand. Aunt Chiu, you don't have to worry about me if you're busy. I'll find something to entertain myself. Sima Yue said and got on the beast carriage that was prepared. When the car door closed, the smile on her face instantly disappeared, and her expression became somewhat solemn. She said a lot of things to Yuan Yuqiu today, and she also asked about the things that happened in the past, but Yuan Yuqiu responded very well. Other than being a little anxious about Sima Lu Xian, everything else was watertight. It seemed that it would be difficult to find evidence of her poisoning. She returned to the courtyard where she lived. When Liang Chuxing saw her return to her room with a frown, he followed her in. After a day of recuperation, he looked like he had almost recovered, but no one knew what he was thinking. What happened to you? Why are you frowning after attending a banquet? He walked over and asked when he saw Sima Yue standing in front of the table in a daze. Sima Yue turned to look at him and asked, "Do you know anything about Yuan Yuqiu?" "It's just so." Liang Chuxing sat down and Sima Yue followed suit. "Is she a meticulous person?" "I can't say that she's meticulous. It's just that, how should I put it? With that idiot Yuan Li as a comparison, she seems to have a bit of a brain." Liang Chuxing said, "Why? Do you think she's very difficult to deal with after dealing with her today?" Sima Yue remembered that Liang Chuxing was quite famous in the 5th prefecture and asked, "Then do you know of a type of poison whose symptoms are?" She told him about Yu Keluo's situation after she was poisoned, how her parents exhausted their spiritual power to save her life after she was born, and how it would cause the baby's veins to be blocked and unable to cultivate. After that, she asked again, "Does the Yuan family have such a poison?" "I've never seen this kind of poison before, but my friend should know." Liang Chuxing said, "Why don't we ask her?" "Fulai City saved your friend?" "His sister, she happens to be in Kongmar City." Liang Chuxing said, "Then I'll have to trouble you to arrange it." Sima Yue said, "I'll take you to see her tomorrow." Liang Chuxing replied, "But why are you asking about this? Is it related to Yuan Yuqiu?" "Yes. You're that baby? You suspect that Yuan Yuqiu poisoned you?" Liang Chuxing guessed with certainty. Sima Yue saw that he guessed correctly and admitted it, saying, "You guessed right. I asked Xian Yuan Pavilion to help me investigate the matter of that year, and listed a few suspects. This Yuan Yuqiu is ranked first and is the most likely. But it's been so many years and they can't find any evidence, so it's a bit difficult to get her to admit it." "That's a bit troublesome." Liang Chuxing touched his chin. "Since you helped me collect Yinlan's body, I'll help you find out the person who poisoned you." "You'll help me investigate?" Sima Yue blinked. The meaning in her eyes was obvious. "You're a person who was chased around by the Yuan family. Do you have the ability to do that?" "Didn't I take you to see my friend? Without me, you might not be able to get anything out of her if you ask." Liang Chuxing said proudly. "Sima Yue, if it's not Yuan Yuqiu who poisoned you, what will you do?" Liang Chuxing asked. "Then I'll continue to look." Sima Yue said, "That year that person caused my family to be so miserable. My parents were separated, and I was treated as a waste for so many years. This hatred must be avenged. What if that person's identity is more powerful than Yuan Yuqiu?" After Liang Chuxing asked this sentence, he wanted to swallow it back because Sima Yue gave him a silly expression. "That's true. With your current identity and background, who can be more powerful than you? TSK, it's not that I want to say this, but with your identity, no one on this continent would dare to say anything. I'm not a crab." Sima Yue was not satisfied with his adjectives. "Isn't this just an analogy?" Liang Chuxing said. "Let me remind you, my friend's temper is a bit strange. You know, people who deal with poison all day long have a bit of a personality. If there's anything wrong tomorrow, you have to bear with it a little." Sima Yue understood. Those professional masters more or less had some problems, so she nodded in understanding. "I'll pay attention," she said. After all, she was the one who needed help, so she wouldn't be so blind. Early the next morning, Sima Yue and Ru Shui said that they were going out for a stroll, and then left the small courtyard with Liang Chuxing. She didn't know if Yuan Yuqiu had sent someone to keep an eye on her, so she didn't appear to be in a hurry. Instead, she looked for a few medicinal shops to stroll around, and then seemingly inadvertently entered the shop that Liang Chuxing mentioned. Liang Chuxing could be considered an acquaintance here. He asked the waiter to take them directly to the shopkeeper. The shopkeeper had already seen his appearance before, so he recognized who he was. "Young Master Liang, are you here to look for young miss?" The shopkeeper asked. Where's Xian? Young miss is in the alchemy room. She instructed us not to disturb her. She went in early yesterday morning, so she should be coming out soon. Do you want to wait? The shopkeeper said politely. Liang Chuxing looked at Sima Yue. Seeing her nod, he said, Okay, we'll wait. And this wait lasted for almost half a day. After noon, a woman in red came in from outside. Liang Erhua, why are you here again? Chapter 1697. Second brother Liang? Sima Yu smiled very unkindly, thinking that there were outsiders around. She held up her teacup reservedly and used the lid to hide her smile. Liang Erhua, why did you bring me a stranger? You know the rules here, don't make me throw you out. When the woman saw Sima Yue, she glared at Liang Chuxing and walked to the main seat and sat down. Xian, there are people here, don't be so rude to me. Liang Chuxing winked at Chuxian. Second brother Liang, since when do you have such a thing as face? Chuxian said faintly. If you want to save face, why don't you give up being the young master of the Liang family and become a flower thief? It's strange that the Liang clan didn't expel you from the clan. Xian, Liang Chuxing called out to her with a helpless tone. All right, I won't expose you. Chuxian waved her hand. Tell me, what are you here for today? Let me introduce you. This is Chuxian, and this is Sima Yue. Help me lure away the Yuan family's ambush, so that I can collect Yinlan's corpse. Liang Chuxing introduced the two of them. Sima Yue? Chuxian's gaze was cold. Even though she was looking at Sima Yue emotionlessly, Sima Yue still felt pressured. It was as if she was being stared at by a poisonous snake. Yue greet Senior Chu. Sima Yue stood up and bowed to Chuxian. I've heard of you. You've become quite famous recently. Chuxian said. Why are you looking for me? Why don't you say that I'm looking for you? Liang Chuxing muttered at the side. You're just an infatuated flower thief. What business do you have with me? He had no choice but to use some poison to harm people. But is such a small matter worth waiting for me for a few hours? Chuxian rolled her eyes at him. Liang Chuxing curled his lips and didn't say anything. Sima Yue smiled when she saw the way the two of them interacted. Only people who were close to each other would poke at each other's wounds. Senior Chu, it's like this. Liang Chuxing said that you are very knowledgeable in poison techniques, so he has something to ask you. What? I know a type of poison it. Sima Yue explained the symptoms and asked, Senior, I would like to ask if you know what kind of poison it is. The poison you're talking about is called drunken poison flower. Chuxian replied. However, I never knew that a poisoned person could survive until the child was born. Are you that baby? Sima Yue was silent for a moment before she nodded and asked, Senior, do you know who created this poison? Of course I do. This is the poison that I created. There's only one of its kind in the world. Chuxian's words shocked everyone. What? Is this your poison? Xian, the person who poisoned Yu's mother shouldn't be you, right? Liang Chuxing shouted. Second brother Liang, when can you use your brain? You think you can avoid being hunted down by the Yuan clan for 2 years? Chuxian's eyes were full of disdain, as if she didn't know him at all. Although this poison was created by Senior, it was not used by Senior. Sima Yue said, I would like to ask Senior, 60 or 70 years ago, who did you give this poison to? This poison isn't a good poison. Back then, after refining a batch, I didn't refine any more. I only gave it to one person. Chuxian said. If that's the case, then it's easy to find out who poisoned her. Liang Chuxing interrupted again, saying some useless nonsense. Sima Yue looked at Chuxian expectantly, but she didn't say anything else. Xian, don't keep us in suspense. Quickly tell us, okay? Liang Chuxing urged. Why are you in such a hurry? Chuxian shouted at him. If I want to say it, then I'll say it. If I don't want to say it, then I won't say it. What are you talking about? Xian, the person who was scolded called out in grievance. Sima Yue smiled. Senior, what do you want? If I can do it, I will do my best to do it. Chu Xian looked at her with satisfaction and said faintly, "Actually, my condition is very simple. I never thought that this poison could be passed on to a baby, so I want to know the details of your situation at that time. I also want to know how you cured the poison. As long as you tell me this, I will tell you who I gave the poison to." "You want to know how to cure the poison?" Sima Yue was startled. Such an easy condition? But when Chu Xian saw her in a daze, she thought that she was unwilling. Well, most people were unwilling to tell others their methods. "If you're not willing, then I won't. Senior, I'm willing to tell you." Sima Yue smiled. "Then just now I was in a daze just now because I didn't expect Senior's condition to be so simple." Sima Yue thought about it and didn't say the last sentence. She didn't say that Liang Chuxing said that she was a little strange and difficult to get along with. She was afraid that Liang Chuxing would be beaten by Chu Xian if she said this. Later, she talked about the symptoms of her original poisoning and the method of detoxification, no matter how big or small. Chu Xian took down notes on paper and sighed. "Who was the person who saved you?" "That's a person on the continent below. As for who it is, it's not convenient to say." Sima Yue said, "This doesn't affect our agreement, right?" "This doesn't affect it. I'm just a little curious. Who is the person who can develop such a detoxification prescription? Since it's from the continent below, then forget it." Chu Xian looked at the prescription and couldn't take her eyes off it. "It's also thanks to your mother being from the ghost realm that she wasn't poisoned to death, and you were still alive. I really didn't expect that this poison would have such a result when it met the ghost clan. Now that I've said this, can you tell me who you gave this poison to? Is it the Yuan family?" Sima Yue asked. Chu Xian raised her head from the paper. "Yuan family? Those arrogant people of the Yuan family won't come to me to buy poison. It's Suemo Li." "Suemo Li?" Sima Yue was a little surprised. She took out the information given to her by Xianyuan Pavilion and read it again about Suemo Li. Suemo Li is the daughter of the Su family. She is lively and friendly to people. She doesn't like the cold and arrogant Yuan Yuqiu. "It was Suemo Li who poisoned your mother?" Liang Chuxing was very familiar with the affairs of those women. At this time, Sima Yue felt that this flower thief was a bit more like it. "I don't know." Sima Yue shook her head. "Although she bought the poison, it doesn't necessarily mean she used it. But this is a clue. However, what makes me more surprised is that Suemo Li and my mother have never been in contact, but she was listed on the suspect list by Xianyuan Pavilion, although she was ranked last. Why is that? It's not easy to know the reason. Do you have a way? Didn't you ask Xianyuan Pavilion for this information? Then why don't you go directly to Xianyuan Pavilion and ask?" "No, this matter is very confidential. Not many people know about it," Sima Yue said. "Since you think she is suspicious, just ask her." Chu Xian said, "Suemo Li came to Kongmar City 2 days ago." Chapter 1698. Liang Chuxing was a little surprised. Suemo Li and Yuan Yuqiu were not on good terms. How could she come to the Yuan family's territory? "In that case, I will go and meet this Suemo Li." Sima Yue got up. "Thank you, Senior, for telling me today. This junior will take her leave first. If you go to see Suemo Li, you can take this guy with you. He's the best at making relationships with women." Chu Xian waved her hand and ignored them. She continued to study the antidote formula that Sima Yue had given her. Sima Yue and Liang Chuxing left the shop. It was already late, and they didn't know where Suemo Li lived, so the two returned to their residence first. That night, she let the scarlet bees search the city, and must find the whereabouts of Suemo Li. Because of the pride of the Su family's daughter, even in the territory of the Yuan family, she did not keep a low profile. It took the scarlet bees only 2 days to find the whereabouts of Suemo Li, and at the same time brought back a message. Suemo Li was invited by Yuan Yuqiu. The two were not on good terms. How could Yuan Yuqiu invite Suemo Li here? "Shall we meet this Su family's daughter tonight?" Liang Chuxing asked. "Yes." Sima Yue nodded. At night, the two of them gathered in the courtyard. Liang Chuxing watched as she called out thousand resonance and fused with him, then changed into the appearance of a man. You are amazing, he said, circling her twice. Let's go. Sima Yue was not in the mood to talk to him about this. She pulled him to the place that Scarlet Bee mentioned. The place where the Su family lived was not very far away, but it was heavily guarded. Several experts were hidden in the courtyard. It seems that Su Mo Li is still worried about Yuan Yuqiu. Fortunately, Sima Yue's space technique was excellent, and no one found out when she sneaked into Su Mo Li's room. Su Mo Li was taking a bath in the bathtub when she felt the movement in the space. She immediately flew out of the water and put on the clothes on the side with a wave of her hand. Entering a room in the middle of the night, he shouldn't be a gentleman, right? After putting on her clothes, she pouted and complained to the air. Of course we're gentlemen, but we're just gentlemen on the beam. Sima Yue and Liang Chuxing came out of the spatial tunnel and casually set up a barrier. Su Emoli saw that it was two men who came out, but did not panic. She walked barefoot outside, sat on the bed, looked at them and asked, "Are you trying to pick me? What do you think, miss?" Liang Chuxing revealed a wretched smile as he looked at her lecherously. With your skin as smooth as jade and your body as delicate as a flower, which flower thief wouldn't want to pick you? Really? Then should I thank you for your favor? Su Emoli said with a smile. However, I'm afraid that you will have the life to pick it, but not the life to enjoy it. Are you talking about those experts outside? See if you can still contact them. Liang Chuxing said unhurriedly. Su Emoli sensed it and found that she really couldn't contact the people outside, but she didn't show a panicked expression. Instead, she smiled and said, I didn't expect you to be able to set up such a powerful enchantment here. If that's the case, then I'll obediently let you pick it. She was like this, so Sima Yue couldn't continue to flirt with her. Miss Su, we came to you because we have something to ask you. Sima Yue said. As long as you tell us, we won't embarrass you. It seems that I have no choice. Su Emoli shrugged. No, you have a choice. Hee, you can choose to let us pick you. Liang Chuxing said wretchedly. I'd rather be picked by this little brother than you. Liang Chuxing, Su Emoli said contemptuously. Who is that guy Liang Chuxing? Liang Chuxing denied. Who else, but you can't stop talking about Kai in 3 sentences. Su Emoli said with certainty. This Yuan family is now chasing you everywhere, and you still dare to come here. Aren't you afraid of being caught and castrated? After that, she also glanced at him, and that gaze made him subconsciously reach out to cover it. Seeing Liang Chuxing's action, she smiled happily. Okay, I won't tease you anymore. Tell me, what's the matter tonight? Although this long night is good, it's not beautiful with the flower thief. The meaning was obvious. If you have any questions, ask quickly, and get out quickly. Sima Yue knew that young ladies like them had many life-saving means, and using force against her may not be useful. Miss Su, I want to ask you, 60 or 70 years ago, did you buy the drunk poison flower from Senior Chu? She asked the purpose of tonight. Su Emoli, who had been careless, heard the name of the drunk poison flower. The smile on her face disappeared, and she sat up straight. She looked at Sima Yue, her eyes slightly cold. What are you asking this for? Sima Yue waved her hand, and the chair on the side moved over by itself. She sat opposite Su Emoli and said, You should know. We have confirmed it from Senior Chu. She said you bought the drunk poison flower. Since you know all about it, why are you still asking me? Su Emoli recovered her smile. Don't say you came to me for this poison. I don't have it. 67 years ago, Ghost Princess Yukoluo and Sima Luxian fell in love, but when she was pregnant, she was poisoned with the drunk poison flower. Sima Yue said faintly. Impossible. Su Emoli interrupted her. Master Chu said that people who are poisoned with the drunk poison flower can't live for more than half a year. But she didn't die, but was taken away by the ghost clan. How could she be poisoned with the drunk poison flower? Sima Yue looked at her reaction. It was very natural. Obviously she didn't know about Yukoluo being poisoned with the drunk poison flower. If she poisoned her, it would be impossible. Then the poison wasn't her. But she should know who did it. But the target of the poison is the ghost clan. The bloodline is different, so she survived. She said, "You got this poison from Senior Chu, don't you know?" Su Emoli wanted to say that she really didn't know, but the words turned around again. "Who are you?" "It doesn't matter who I am, you just have to answer me. How did you poison Yukuluo? Why should I tell you? What's in it for me to tell you?" Su Emoli asked with a smile. "I don't know what the benefits are, but if you don't say it, you can't afford to offend Yukuluo's daughter. I heard that she also came to Kongmar City to see if she knows that her mother was poisoned by you. It's fine if you have an accident, but if you implicate your family, you will become a sinner of the family." Liang Chuxing looked like he was thinking for her, but everyone could hear the threat in it. "Then wait for her to come to me." Su Emoli looked at her toes. "Since it's about her mother, I will naturally tell her." Liang Chuxing looked at Sima Yue. She hesitated for a while, touched the fusion with 1,000 resonance, and restored her original appearance. Chapter 1699. Seeing Sima Yue, Su Emoli was not surprised and said, "It really is you. Please search to see the most complete. It's the fastest." "You guessed it was me." "When?" Sima Yue asked. "When you said that Yukuluo was poisoned. Most people wouldn't know so clearly, nor would they care so much. When I thought about the news I heard during the day and knew that you were here, I guessed it." Su Emoli didn't hide it either. "However, how can a beauty like you be with such a notorious person?" "This is between me and him," Sima Yue said. "Miss Su, can you tell me now? Who did you give the drunken poison flower to?" "Why didn't you say that I poisoned him?" Su Emoli asked. "If it were you, you wouldn't be so surprised just now." Sima Yue shook her head. "Senior Su, since you already know my identity, you should understand my feelings. Please tell me who you gave the intoxicating poison flower to." "It's not that I don't want to tell you, but I don't know," Su Emoli said. "What? How is this possible?" Sima Yue and Liang Chuxing had both called out. How could she not know? "I gave it to my cousin at the time, but a few days later, she told me that the poison was stolen," Su Emoli said. "How could it be stolen? She didn't put it in the space?" Liang Chuxing felt that it was too inconceivable. "She had a jade hairpin, which was also a spatial container. She was stolen along with the jade hairpin." Sima Yue and Liang Chuxing understood. Although the space container had recognized its owner, it was not impossible to break it open if one's spiritual power was especially strong. Spatial rings were generally not taken off, but if it was a jade hairpin, it would still be taken off when bathing. Therefore, it was really possible that it had been stolen. Sima Yue was a little disappointed. Was this the end of the line? "Actually, I can probably guess who poisoned your mother," Su Emoli said. "You know, at that time, your father was admired by so many women, except for that woman from the Yuan family, who was so possessive. This matter, if she didn't do it, she ordered someone to do it." Su Emoli said with certainty, "But only she can poison. Do you have evidence?" Sima Yue asked. "There's no evidence, and I don't have much contact with her." Su Emoli curled her lips. "But this kind of thing, it's just a set. I asked her a few questions before, but her answers were very clever, so I couldn't find any useful information." Sima Yue was rather helpless. "That's the person's wrong. You're just a junior, and have never interacted with her before. Isn't it her business how she makes things up?" Yue Su Emoli said Yue. "Senior Su, I heard that you and Yuan Yuqiu are sworn enemies. Why did you come to Kongmar City at this time?" "It's that woman who invited me here. You know, we haven't seen eye to eye for hundreds of years. If she quietly invited me, I would be too lazy to pay attention to it. As a result, everyone knows about this. If I don't come, wouldn't it mean that I'm afraid of her?" Su Emoli said. Yuan Yuqiu was very disdainful. "Then would you like me to help you?" Sima Yue asked. "That depends on what conditions you can give." Su Emoli didn't agree, nor did she disagree. Sima Yue thought for a while and said, You help me get information from her, and I promise you that you will leave safely. Ha ha ha, little girl, I know you are very powerful, but it is not difficult for my Su family to leave Kongmar City. Su Emoli laughed very happily, not knowing whether it was because of what she said or her thoughts. You will need it, Sima Yue said. Although you brought a lot of people, it is still a little worse than Yuan Yuchio's careful arrangement. You said, Yuan Yuchio wants to deal with me? In Kongmar City. She dares. Su Emoli said angrily. Do you think she doesn't dare? Because this is her territory. Killing you will be talked about by others? Do you think she cares about this? Sima Yue said. She asked you to come here for other reasons, right? Otherwise, why would the news of the invitation spread out? She just wants you to come here. As for the reason, I think you should know better. Su Emoli didn't know what she thought of, and her face sank slightly. Sima Yue raised the corners of her mouth. It seems that something really happened. She stood up and merged with Thousand Resonance again. Senior Su, you know how to find me. Sorry to disturb you tonight. After that, she took back the enchantment, opened the door and went out. Good sister, if you miss your brother, you can find me if you don't agree. Brother is on call. Liang Chuxing gave Su Emoli a wink and followed out, but stopped as soon as he went out. At this time, many masters had gathered in the yard, and it was estimated that all the people in the yard had come. Let them leave. Su Emoli's voice came from the house, and Sima Yue nodded to the masters and swaggered out of the main door. Two people came to Su Emoli's room and knelt on the ground. We failed to protect the master. Please forgive us, Mississippi. Sima Yue's space technique was inherited from the Feng people. If she hadn't deliberately made a movement, I wouldn't have found it. Get up, it's not your fault. Su Emoli waved her hand. Thank you, Mississippi. The two stood up and stood in place without speaking. Su Emoli pondered for a while and said to the two standing people, You send someone to check if Yuan Yuchio has done anything. Remember, don't let the Yuan family find out. Yes, Mississippi. The two took the order and went out, leaving Su Emoli staring at her toes in a daze. Sima Yue took Liang Chuxing back to the place where they lived quietly, and Ru Shui always thought that they had not gone out in the yard. Yue, do you think that Su Emoli will agree with you? Yes. Why? Yuan Yuchio wants to kill her. Although I don't know the reason, but what secrets did they have before that made Yuan Yuchio want to kill her regardless of her reputation? How do you know? I guessed. The Scarlet Bees have been investigating the news in the city during this time, and this was also what they sent back. This was also why she was so sure. This Su family is not weaker than the Yuan family. If they really kill Su Emoli, the Su family will not give up. Liang Chuxing analyzed. Yuan Yuchio does not hesitate to expand the two families, which can only mean that either Su Emoli has something that can greatly increase the strength of the Yuan family. Otherwise, the Yuan clan will be able to gain more benefits from this matter. In any case, it has nothing to do with us. Just wait for her to come to us. Sima Yue returned to her room and prepared to close the door. How long do you think she will wait? Tomorrow night. Sima Yue slammed the door. This book came from Chapter 1700. At the same time, in Yuan Yuchio's house, several men in black knelt on one knee. Have you found it? Yuan Yuchio's voice was as cold as ever. In this world, except for Sima Luxian, no one could see her gentle side. However, the person who could see it disdained to look at it. Miss Sima Yue went to look for Chu Xian. The leader of the men in black said, Chu Xian. Yuan Yuchio gritted her teeth and whispered her name. This woman was like a fishbone stuck in her throat. She couldn't swallow it, couldn't pull it out, and still insisted on walking around under her nose. Yes, she went to Chu Xian's medicine shop and stayed there for half a day. The black-robed man said, I understand. Is the Falcon project ready? I'm ready. This time, none of the Su family members will escape. Bring forward the plan. There's no need to wait for the glazed assembly. We'll do it in the next 2 days. In addition, send someone to pay attention to not let Sima Yue and Su Emoli meet. Miss, if we bring forward the plan, Wouldn't it be too hasty? Isn't 3 days enough time for you to deploy? Yuan Yuqiu shouted. If you don't have this ability, what are you doing here? Young miss, please calm down. I'm just worried that something might go wrong. If we fail and the higher-ups blame us, we won't be able to bear the consequences. All of you just have to do as I say. As for the rest, I will arrange it. Yuan Yuqiu said with a cold face. As for other things, you don't have to worry about them. Go and make the arrangements. When those people saw that their persuasion was ineffective, they could only retreat helplessly. Yuan Yuqiu got up and went to the window. Looking at the full moon in the sky, she murmured, I must not let these two meet, I must. On Su Mo Li's side, although Kongmar City was not their territory, she still got the news before dark the next day, and she was so angry that she broke the decorative vase. Yuan Yuqiu, good job. This time, let's see who will be the one to die. In the next 3 days, the people in the city did their own things in peace. Sima Yue only heard that Yuan Yuqiu sent an invitation to Su Mo Li 3 days later, asking her to meet on the eve of the glazed gathering. Not only her, but the other participants of the glazed gathering had also heard about this. Some of them were a little unhappy, because according to the tradition of the previous gatherings, they had to be invited tonight. Now that only Su Mo Li was invited, those people would inevitably think too much. On the other hand, Sima Yue saw that Ru Shui was still talking about how the others were unhappy. She just smiled faintly, and turned around to return to the house. Ru Shui left her courtyard, but she did not go far away. She kept an eye on her room, and did not allow her to leave the courtyard. She had always felt Sima Yue's presence, so she thought that Sima Yue had always been around. The place where Su Mo Li was invited was still the same courtyard as the last time, and Su Mo Li went to the appointment with the maidservants and guards. Seeing more than a dozen people following behind her, Yuan Yuqiu sneered. Whether or not they came today, these people would all die. Yuan Yuqiu, you called me here at this time. You didn't specially invite me to attend the glazed gathering, did you? Su Mo Li went to the seat and sat down, and all the maidservants and guards stood behind her. Why can't I invite you to the glazed gathering? Yuan Yuqiu waved her hand, and a maidservant immediately served her tea. We have known each other for hundreds of years, but you have never participated in my glazed gathering. You have such talent in alchemy. It is a pity that you don't come to give pointers to those younger generations. Pfft. Su Mo Li gave her a blank look. You often can't say anything true from your mouth, but this time you are right. That is, we have known each other for hundreds of years. So I know how many huahua intestines you have in your stomach. When your butt sticks up, I know you are going to shit and pee. Su Mo Li, I haven't seen you for so many years, but you still speak so vulgarly. As if dissatisfied with her description, Yuan Yuqiu frowned, and disgust flashed across her face. Yuan Yuqiu, I am actually very friendly to people. Unless the other party is not a human. Then I naturally don't have to be polite. Su Mo Li crossed her legs and looked at her with a smile. Miss Su, please have some tea. The maidservant came up with a cup of tea and placed it beside her. Talking to you is tiring, it makes my mouth dry. After Su Mo Li finished speaking, she took a sip of the teacup, then put it down and continued. Yuan Yuqiu, there is no need to say those fake pleasantries between us. Just say it directly. What are you looking for me for? I heard that you got the 7 orifices exquisite array diagram. Yes. Do you want it? Su Mo Li saw that Yuan Yuqiu's face was a little excited, and the conversation turned. You want it, but I don't want to give it to you. Your Su family is an alchemy family, and it is useless to keep the 7 orifices exquisite array diagram. My Yuan family has studied a lot about arrays. If you are willing to give this diagram to us, my Yuan family will definitely offer a treasure of the same value. Yuan Yuqiu said. A treasure of the same value? Yuan Yuqiu, what can you come up with in exchange? Not to mention that you don't have it. Even if you have it, I don't want to exchange. Su Mo Li said. Hey, don't be angry. Don't you know that I like to see you hate me so much that your teeth itch? And you want to kill me but can't kill me. The maidservant standing behind her twitched her mouth. Her words were really asking for a beating. Su Mo Li, I'm talking to you nicely. Don't force me to get angry. Yuan Yuqiu slapped the table and snapped. Yuan Yuqiu, what are you doing so loudly? Su Emily picked her ears. My ears are very good. You don't have to be so loud, I can hear you. Yuan Yuqiu took 2 deep breaths, suppressed her anger, and then said, I came to you today to discuss with you, not to quarrel with you. I know you came to discuss with me, but didn't I just refuse you? I said I won't exchange. What else do you want to discuss? You won't do those things by force, right? This is not in line with your Miss Yuan style. Su Emily said. However, you are always playing tricks behind your back. You want to use my array diagram? Su Emily, my elder sister won't play tricks on you. You are not worthy. Yuan Qing and Yuan Lili walked in from the outside, and saw Su Emily and snorted coldly. Is that so? Yuan Qing, are you so protective of Yuan Yuqiu? Do you think she is worthy of you being good to her? I don't know if you will still think so when you know those things. Su Emily looked at Yuan Qing funnily. What do you mean? You want to sow discord between my relationship with my elder sister? Yuan Qing was so angry that he jumped and reacted immediately. What do you mean? It's literally what it means. Su Emily said. Didn't you help Yuan Yuqiu do a lot of things that her identity can't do? For example, poisoning others. This book came from Chapter 1701. The maid behind Su Emily lowered her eyes, blocking the fluctuations in her eyes. Poison. Yuan Qing chuckled. Su Emily, I Yuan Qing, have poisoned many people in my life. This has nothing to do with my eldest sister. If you want to use this to sow discord between us, it's useless. Really? How could it be the same if you poisoned yourself or if you were instigated by your elder sister? Of course, when you poison people, you can afford to offend them. But there are some people you can't provoke. Su Emily kindly advised you. Su Emily, what do you mean? Yuan Lili shouted. Third sister, this Su Emily has always been unable to say anything good. We don't have to pay attention to her. Su Emily was also annoyed. She curled her lips and said, You know, your elder sister invited Sima Yue. Hearing this name, Yuan Qing's body stiffened for a moment, but it was still caught by Su Emily. Her smile widened as she looked at Yuan Qing with pity. See, didn't I say that you, Yuan Qing, can't afford to offend this person? However, when you were instigated by your elder sister to poison Yukulua with the drunken poison flower, you didn't expect that she would give birth to such a monstrous daughter, right? Because Yuan Yuqiu wanted to see her sweetheart. She invited Yukuluo's daughter. Yuan Qing, do you know what you will face? Impossible. Even if Sima Yue is very powerful, she wouldn't know that I was the one who poisoned her. Yuan Qing shouted. Third sister. Yuan Yuqiu stopped Yuan Qing and didn't let her continue. Yuan Yuqiu, why are you doing this? Su Emily shrugged. On one hand, you let your sister poison Yukuluo, and on the other hand, you're asking about Sima Yue's well-being and fawning over her. Hey, even I can't stand it anymore. Tell me, if she knew that you were the mastermind behind all of this, what would she do to you? Well, at least Sima Luxian will definitely not look at you again. He might even kill you himself. She won't know. Yuan Yuqiu sneered. That's not necessarily true. I heard that she went to Chu Xian's place. I got this poison from Chu Xian, so she will definitely come to me. Su Emily smiled proudly. As long as I tell her that I gave you the poison, wouldn't she know? You're right. She will know that you obtained the drunken poison flower from Chu Xian, but she won't know that you gave it to us. Because you won't be able to leave this place today. Yuan Yuqiu coldly snorted. Men. A group of guards rushed in from outside. Not only that, the courtyard outside and the roof were filled with people. The teacup in Su Emily's hand turned in a circle, and when she saw the guards surrounding her, she didn't panic. Yuan Yuqiu, I told you, you invited me here like a weasel paying a visit to a chicken. You don't have any good intentions. You were still pretending before, but now that I mention this matter, you don't even pretend anymore. After Su Emily finished speaking, she let out a long sigh. Yuan Yuqiu, do you know your appearance? Oh, it's really disgusting. I don't know, but I know that you can't leave here today. Alas, you are really careful. Not only did you arrange so many people, but you also poisoned me. Alas, my stomach hurts. She clutched her stomach with one hand and threw the teacup to the ground. Suemo Li, knowing that this is a hangmen banquet, you still dare to swagger to the appointment. I can only say that you are stupid. Yuan Qing laughed. It's not that I didn't expect you to use such a despicable means. However, sister is just teasing you. Don't believe everything. Suemo Li straightened up. There was no sign of poisoning. You're not poisoned? Didn't you drink the tea? Yuan Li, why are you so brainless? You can poison, but I can't detoxify it? Knowing that you sisters don't have good intentions, of course, I am on guard. Suemo Li liked to see the Yuan sisters jumping around angrily, and was in a good mood. You teased me. Yuan Qing suddenly launched an attack, and red flames sprayed towards them. The distance was very close, and no one expected her to suddenly attack, and it was too late to condense a protective layer. The other guards didn't care so much and attacked Suemo Li together. For a time their position was colorful. They could no longer feel that there was still life under the attack. They must have been killed. Big sister, if we knew that this Suemo Li was so easy to deal with, why did we prepare so many people? Yuan Qing said contemptuously, looking down on Suemo Li. What people who have fought with Big Sister for hundreds of years, there is nothing to be afraid of. But Yuan Yuqiu frowned. Suemo Li's performance just now was too abnormal. She wasn't worried at all, which made her feel a little flustered. Big sister, what's wrong? Yuan Li asked when she saw her expression was wrong. Stop the attack. Yuan Yuqiu ordered, and those people stopped immediately. The spirit technique gradually dissipated, but Suemo Li and the others were still intact. Space blockade. Yuan Yuqiu recognized it at once. No wonder those attacks were useless. It turned out that they didn't touch them at all. How can it be? How can you block such a large area of space? Yuan Qing was also an array master and could also block space, but she could only block the space of 3 or 5 people, not more than a dozen people like this. Such a large space blockade. Even Yuan Yuqiu couldn't do it. Suemo Li looked at their sluggish appearance with a smile, clapped her hands and stood up. Your spirit technique just now looked colorful. It was really beautiful. Suemo Li, how did you do it? Yuan Qing cried. No, impossible, you don't have that ability. I don't have that ability, Suemo Li readily admitted. How about it? I said they poisoned us, right? Yuan Yuqiu was startled. This was definitely not said to them. Then it could only be. The body of the servant girl behind Suemo Li slowly changed, and her appearance and aura became Sima Yue. Why is it you? The Yuan family looked at her in surprise. It turned out to be you. No wonder you can block such a large space and still be so stable. Yuan Yuqiu knew in her heart that she had been set up by the two. I have an agreement with Senior Su. If the poisoning had nothing to do with the Yuan family, I will not interfere in the affairs between you. If the person who poisoned us was you, I will guarantee her safe departure, Sima Yue said faintly. Yuan Yuqiu, today is not only about you and her, but also about the accounts of the past. My mother treated you with sincerity, but you did this to her. As a child. Today I will avenge my mother's hatred. After that, she leaped and directly broke through the roof with her spirit power protecting her body. She hung in the air and looked at Yuan Yuqiu who followed her out. She opened the small realm, and the cloud guards and foam people of the Sima family came out. And she also called out several spirit beasts and merged them all. This book came from Chapter 1702. As soon as the foam people came out, Yuan Yuqiu knew that she had failed. If Sima Yue didn't know what happened back then, it would have been fine, but at this time, she found out and made an agreement with Suemo Li. Today's matter was unlikely to be resolved peacefully. The commotion here was quickly noticed by the people outside. Many people ran over to watch the commotion. Yuan Yuqiu, my mother was so good to you back then, as close as a sister. But because you were jealous that my mother could be together with my father, You poisoned her, almost causing her to die. Not only that, but the poison was also passed on to me as a baby, causing my veins to be blocked, making it impossible for me to cultivate. Even now, you're still trying to deceive me and get my father's attention from me. Today, I want to seek an explanation for the sufferings that my mother and I have suffered in the past. Sima Yue accused Yuan Yuqiu one by one. Her voice was loud and clear, spreading far and wide. The onlookers were still wondering why Sima Yue would suddenly make things difficult for the Yuan family. They did not expect that it was because of old grudges. Aunt Xiang, I must avenge my mother today. So, don't let the Yuan family disturb us now. Sima Yue said to Feng Xiang. Feng Xiang understood, and set up a barrier to isolate the entire courtyard. Even if the Yuan clan's people came, they wouldn't be able to enter. Yuan Yuqiu, today I will make a decision for my mother. After saying that, she quickly formed a seal with both hands, and a fire phoenix formed in front of her. In the beginning it was a small one. It flapped its wings in the air, and its body grew with the wind. In just a few breaths, it became a huge bird. Go! The firebird left her range and flew towards Yuan Yuqiu. Yuan Yuqiu's spiritual skill was also completed. It was a huge snow wolf. The two spiritual techniques, one fire and one ice, collided violently in the air. The power that was released made the people around them feel as if they were plunged into an abyss of fire. Originally, Yuan Yuqiu did not put Sima Yue in her eyes. At least, she had always thought that she only had some background. Therefore, her snow wolf was definitely going to win this round. However, she didn't expect that the firebird wasn't killed by the snow wolf. Instead, the two sides were evenly matched. How is this possible? When she saw the snow wolf that had become much smaller, she cried out in surprise. Then she understood. That's right, the Sima family's fusion technique can increase your strength. However, even so, you are still no match for me. You'll know once you try. After Sima Yue finished speaking, her hands once again formed a seal, and a short sword appeared in front of her, followed by a second, a third, a fourth. When she finished, hundreds of short swords shot towards Yuan Yuqiu. Yuan Yuqiu took out a white chain and waved it to disperse all the short swords. At the same time, she waved her other hand, and an ice lotus attacked Sima Yue, interrupting her. When Sima Yue saw the ice lotus, she could feel the immense power within it. She did not take it head-on. She flipped her body and the snow lotus brushed past her body. Seeing that her attack had failed, Yuan Yuqiu controlled the ice lotus to return. Her speed was so fast that she did not give her any time to breathe. Sima Yue squinted her eyes and condensed a faint layer of protective layer around her body. She rotated her body and faced the ice lotus. She punched the center of the ice lotus and shattered it. However, her body was still intact. You are a physique cultivator? Yuan Yuqiu was surprised. That's right. After Sima Yue finished speaking, she teleported and appeared beside her. She gave up on spiritual power and directly used close combat. She could see that even if she combined with the power of her contracted beast, she would not be able to win against Yuan Yuqiu's spiritual power. Hence, she gave up on this and switched to close combat. However, what surprised her was that Yuan Yuqiu was also a physique cultivator. Although her movements were not as fast as hers, her strength was not weak either. When the two of them fought, she was not at a disadvantage. Fortunately, Sima Yue was agile and had a higher understanding of space than her, so overall, she was still able to suppress her. The two of them used teleportation. Everyone only saw the two of them appear in one place for a while, and another place for a while. After a few seconds, the two of them disappeared again. When they appeared again, they were in another place. When the people of the Yuan clan heard the movement here, they hurriedly rushed over. When they saw Yuan Yuqiu being forced by Sima Yue step by step, and the guards who were killed, the Yuan clan patriarch was so angry that his heart ached. Sima Yue, don't think that just because you have the support of the Yuan family, you can bully the people in this world. We kindly invited you to participate in the Glaze Assembly, but you actually killed my family members. I want to ask the Phoenix clan what's the reason for this. The Yuan clan's patriarch was blocked outside by the barrier and couldn't enter. He could only anxiously wait outside. Patriarch of the Yuan family, if we really wanted to destroy your Yuan family, we wouldn't have just killed your daughter. Someone from the Feng people shouted. Your Yuan family has gone too far. Even in front of the Supreme Lord, you won't be able to get away with it. What do you mean? The patriarch of the Yuan family was shocked. Did something happen in the family that he didn't know about? Uncle Yuan, don't you know that Yuan Yuqiu poisoned Sima Yoyue's mother? Su Emoli stood on the edge of the enchantment and said with a smile, Sima Yoyue's mother was pregnant with her and had a good relationship with your daughter, but she poisoned her. Drunk poison flower. Originally, the human race could not live for more than half a year after being poisoned by this poison, but she was a ghost. Not only did she survive, but she also gave birth to Sima Yoyue. However, the poison was also transferred to Sima Yoyue, causing her meridians to be blocked, and she could not cultivate for more than 10 years. She was bullied as a waste for more than 10 years. How could Qiu'er? The patriarch of the Yuan family didn't believe it. If it was Yuan Qing and the others, he might think it was possible, but Yuan Yuqiu, he didn't believe it. Uncle Yuan, Yuan Yuqiu has admitted it herself. Su Emoli said. Otherwise, why do you think Sima Yoyue would fight with her personally? Su Emoli saw that the patriarch of the Yuan family couldn't bear the blow and continued to destroy his heart. Uncle Yuan, just now Yoyue said that she only wants to settle accounts with Yuan Yuqiu, and will not involve the Yuan family. But if the Yuan family insists on going against her, then she will not be soft. She will not give up the revenge of killing her mother. So, Uncle Yuan, you have to think about the family. The patriarch of the Yuan family, and the elders behind him were all livid. After the Feng people killed the guards of the Yuan family, they stood in all directions to protect Sima Yoyue. No matter where she was in danger, they could rush to her as soon as possible. Wasn't that protective posture the Feng people wanted to protect her? As the patriarch of the Yuan family, he had to consider the family. Even if Yuan Yuqiu was his daughter, he couldn't use the whole family to save her. What's more, they couldn't enter this enchantment at all. When Sima Yoyue came out, everything would be settled. He couldn't put the whole family in danger for a dead daughter. This book came from. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.